Hello, hello. In the wise words of Kendrick Lamar, top of the morning. How's everyone doing? I have been, as you may have caught from last stream, I've been falling down rabbit holes left and right, and the problem is, when I fall down rabbit holes, I get no sleep. Jacksepticeye said that. He also says that. He also says that. Oh, it's you again. Yeah, I'm afraid so. So, that's why if I'm low on energy today, that is why. But I'm determined to get on stream and hang out with you guys and look at some other projects, such as the one in the title. Hello! The camera is uglier than usual because I have the blinds open. I can get much better lighting if I close the blinds and I just have my artificial lights going. However, turns out sunlight is good for you. That's weird. I wouldn't have thought, but so I've left the blinds a little bit open today. Also, it'll make it easier to work on the ps2s. Hey, listening to the Sonic R OST today. Great soundtrack. I like the Sonic R soundtrack is really good. I prefer it, this might be a controversial take, I prefer it instrumental, but it's very good. Who would have thought? Yeah, we've only evolved around the sun for the last, what, couple 100,000 years. Who would have thought that it might have been good for our alertness and awakeness? Imagine that. Yo, Luke the Roadman, thanks for the sub. Also, thanks for reminding me. I don't have my bot going. I should probably have something that like turns it on automatically. Or maybe I'll just have it running all the time. Why not? Then people can just hang out in here and ask Windows 2000 bots some questions. That's why you didn't get a notification. Sorry about that. But thanks so much for the 4-month Prime subscription, Luke the Roadman. Wowzers. Hang on, I'll try to say that in my best Microsoft Sam impression. Wowzers. It's alright. How's everyone doing? When I look at the sun, my eyes start to hurt. Well, yeah, I don't think you're supposed to look at the sun. You're just supposed to receive the byproducts of the sun. Alright, so oh, I should also throw a link into the good old disc of chord, because I cannot rely on the best that Twitch has to offer, which will, because that gives me notifications that are 2 hours late all the time. I feel like maybe I should have it all in like, if I have my title in lowercase, should I have live now also in lowercase? Yeah, I think that works. Alright, done. What camera do I use? Ah, that's a question that someone asked me on the forum, but I haven't gotten around to answering it yet. It's essentially, the two cameras I use are a G7 and a GH4. The G7 is the worst one. It's the more crippled one. That's why it's locked in face cam purgatory forever, because the GH4 has the better features, so I use that for the more like critical stuff. I'm once again recommending hooking the Discord notif to your Twitch bot. To my Twitch bot? Yo, Exo Strix, thanks so much for the Prime sub. Thank you for the Bezos bucks, I really appreciate it. Enjoy your head and feet emote. Oh, I still don't have a sub badge. Man, this is the problem. Like, if I... like I said, when I fall down rabbit holes, I'm very good at focusing on one project at a time, and that'll be my one focus. And like, I'm good at, like, everything else is just like... like, sub badges, personal hygiene, paying rent, you know, I'm very good at, I can be very, I'm good at getting things done as long as there's one thing to focus on. for like 12 hours a day. Shorthorn, hey, you didn't have to do me like that. Personal hygiene is my absolute favorite hobby. There's a couple things I've learned. Well, it's ironic that there's a couple things that I've started doing just for my own personal health and physical and mental health. That it's always like you always feel like you don't want to do them when you force yourself to do them, but then afterwards you feel really good. And for some reason it's not enough that at the end you always feel really good. It's still always like a real pain to force yourself to do it, like exercising, going out for walks, a lot of things like that you're like, as soon as you're done, you're like, wow, that was great, I should do that more often. But then the next time you try to do it, you're like, oh, do I have to? I'm sure maybe you get into, I hear that like you get into the routine and then you don't really worry about it. Then it becomes hard to not do it. But I've never once been able to maintain a routine in my life. I think the last time I was successfully maintaining a routine was school, which was nearly 10 years ago for me now. Arguably, maybe the Shrekathon counts as a routine. But that was only 5 days. I think you need to do something for like, isn't it 2 weeks or so before it actually becomes a routine. Physical and mental health is cringe. True base. That's why you just sit at home on your computer and you watch Matt Casey all day. Oh, it is. So I was wearing I did a run of these and I have a couple samples. Okay, so I have to say, here's another thing that I forget about when when I'm focusing on one thing, hyperfixating on something, is I forget to do, I put off doing laundry. So when I get to the bottom of my clothing pile, I start to get to my merch samples, which is like these. The slightly incorrect color, the actual color that I ran of these is like more of a charcoal-y color, but this is an incorrect color variant of the a sample that I got of the QR code shirt, which is ironic because last time I was wearing a QR code shirt as well, for the same reason that I hadn't done laundry. But I told myself when I put this on, this morning I finally did the laundry this morning, don't worry. But I told myself, like, when I got out of the shower, I was like, all right, I'll put this on, but I'll put on a different shirt before I start streaming, because the laundry will be done by then, and it'll be embarrassing to be wearing 2 QR code shirts back to back. Lo and behold, I completely forgot. So here we are, wearing yet another, like I said, it's not the same shirt, it's another QR code shirt that I have, because I got a couple samples when I started doing the merch. This was over a year ago now, but yeah. It's the snake game. It's the whole snake game. I've talked about this before on stream, that like, I thought it was conceptually kind of fun, this idea that, you know, you could fit Snake into a QR code and that then you could print it on a shirt. Now you have a whole video game, or the code to a video game, on a shirt. The problem is that when I wear this out in public, which I don't do anymore, but when I did, people would approach you in the street. This is the part I didn't expect. I knew that, you know, it didn't have much practical purpose putting a Windows game on a shirt, but people will stop you in the street and try to scan the QR code, and you have to really disappoint them and be like, no, it doesn't work on phones, my bad, you know. And so that's why I stopped selling them, because I was just like, man, this is kind of annoying, actually. Put a Rickroll on a QR code shirt, that's not a bad idea. I mean, it's not as conceptually exciting as it's a whole game, but it is probably, at least people with phones can scan them, right? You should just have this story be a clip on YouTube. Yeah, I know, it's been like the 3rd time I've answered this question back to back in a row. I know what you mean. It's you know, it takes time to get clips out. Yeah, if someone wants to make a clip for me. Yeah, I could put BillGates.sex on it. Yeah, there's a lot of things you could link to, but it's just not as fun. Like I think the whole fun of putting a game in the QR code it's not just a link to a game. It's the whole game, and it was fun having that on on a shirt as well. But the problem is, because it doesn't work on phones, and QR codes are kind of synonymous with phones. Yeah, like, I knew it wasn't useful as far, like I said, I knew it wasn't practically useful. I just thought it would be fun to have a QR code on a shirt, and I didn't expect that people would stop you in the street and try to scan it. That was, you know, and because they do that, maybe I decided maybe it's not such a good idea. Do I have dating advice? Probably nothing particularly useful. Like, I have the normal stuff like be yourself and be comfortable with who you are. But everyone says that, and it's true. I don't think it's bad advice. It's just, it's not necessarily groundbreaking. Nice firm handshake. That'll do it. You go up, you go, pleasure doing business with ya. Bogan accent is not optional, mandatory. And you're in. I think you're in. So, I did a couple things. I'm going to make a short video about this. I'm going to make a MetKC Bytes video about this. But you can see over here, I have my Xbox 360. That's been RGH'd for a while, as in modded with a glitch chip. But I finally upgraded it to RGH v3, which is the mod that you don't need a chip for anymore. It's literally a mod that consists of 2 wires and a resistor, at least for this model. For the earlier models, this is a rare instance where the earlier models are actually harder to do now. Usually, you know, the earliest models are the most hackable and the later models are the least hackable, but this is actually kind of, I mean, it's sort of like that in that the last 360 revision can't be RGH'd, but you kind of want like the second last revision. That's the easiest one. It is a 360. I would bring it over and show you, but it's plugged in and I can't be bothered. And you guys all know what a 360 looks like. It was a very popular console. So yeah, I'm gonna make a quick. Oh, here I go again. If you guys don't know, the floor in my apartment is not even. So if I'm like in the wrong part of the floor, the chair will just roll back without my without any of my input. So yeah, exciting stuff. And the other thing is, not only is it easier to install, not only does it require less parts and less money to be spent on it. I mean, the glitch chips were only like $5-10, but still. This is even more reliable, because the thing about the glitch chip was that it was kind of like when it was sending the pulse to the Xbox 360 CPU, it's kind of guessing when the right time is. I mean, it's pretty good at guessing. It gets it usually, eventually. And you can, you know, tweak the timing to get it closer and closer for your system. Obviously, slightly different for every unit. But because we're now taking the signal right from the board, we don't have this separate glitch chip module, it is always on time, it is always at the right point, always for the right length of time. So it boots up first try every time, as opposed to just like, if you know about the RGH, sometimes when it fails to hit exactly the right time, it has to boot loop and try again. Sometimes it'll do that for minutes at a time, which is a little unfortunate, but no longer. 2 wires, 1 resistor, and boots up modded every time. Very cool. Then again, the oldest 360 motherboard is the worst. I did say that, so I have an irony, which is that I stocked up on glitch chips, like, just because I was like, you know, I might need some of these in the future if my friends need them, or if I have another one that I need to mod anytime soon. So I'm gonna stock up on them. I bought like not a lot, like 5 of them, and it was literally like a month or 2 after I stocked up on them that the new mod came out that rendered them virtually useless. Now, that being said, you know, they're still useful for the earlier models that can't be RGH v3'd. But that assumes that they haven't already died from Red Ring of Death, so yeah, who knows. Yeah, the Xenon is the worst. The Xenon you can't RGH3 as well. Hang on, let me actually real quick, I'll double check. We always like to fact check on this channel, right? I don't like when streamers just say shit and don't back up their claims with a source. So I'm backing up what I claim with a source. RGHV3. We've got a really nice guide here. Yo.
Video idea. Power an NES from AA batteries and try to speedrun a game before the batteries run out. The low battery graphic glitches should make it really interesting.
I like how it bookended with farts on both sides. I think that actually might be a good stream idea. Like, I could, you know, it's kind of like speedrunning. I think is kind of good for streams because it's, it's happening right now. So yeah, I mean, not a bad idea. I'd give it a try. Okay, so yeah, so some of the fat 360s. I always feel bad when I say that. You know, I don't call people fat, so why should I be calling electronics fat? Anyway, whatever. It's a fat with a PH, okay? That means it's really cool if we're in, like, 1999. So, Jaspers and Falcons and Trinities and Coronas. The two Slims and the two later fat models. If you're not sure, Xbox 360 model identification, which model you have, there's a really nice little guide here that I like. Oh yeah, this one even includes the 360E. Damn it! I just wanted a full-size version of that graphic. One that isn't like 160p. Come on. Well, whatever. Maybe this one. Yeah, this one is alright. Okay. So, yeah, you can see that the original. They kept. What's interesting about this is, as the 360, you know, this happens with all electronics, they kind of downscale them over time. That means they consume less power and they run less hot. So each power supply is slightly less powerful. It's rated for slightly less amperage. And as such, they changed the plug so that, you know, you wouldn't accidentally plug an underpowered power supply into a original power-hungry model. Now, I believe, to an extent, these might even be designed to be backwards compatible, where you can plug like a high-powered one into a low-powered one. I'm not entirely sure, and I don't want to analyze these closely enough to make sure. I think that's how these are designed, is that they keep adding stuff so that you can't, or they keep removing stuff, but adding it to the plug end, so you can't plug later ones into older models, but you can plug older power supplies into newer models. Up until here, where they just fucked it all up completely. Now it's not now it's not backwards compatible at all. Oh yeah, Alpha Xbox 360, but literally just Power Mac G5s. Yeah, it's a Power PC. It's quite literally the CPU, and I mean the CPU in it is custom, but it is just a Power PC. It's a architecture that's very similar to a Power PC G5. Basically, I'd say, yeah, based on is what I'll say. So, these can all be RGH'd up until the last 360E. If you know about the 360E, that's this one, the even slimmer model. There's a common misconception that these can't be modded at all, but that's slightly untrue. The early models of this had the same chipset as the later Slims. It's later 360Es that they had a new chipset that cannot be RGH'd. So some of these, depending on what you've got, can be modded. This one happens to be one that you can. This is a Corona model, which I know that word has a completely different meaning now, but once upon a time it was just crown in Spanish, I think. That means there is Windows 2000 for PowerPC. I don't know if it quite works like that, but yeah, I mean, it's, well, there was a Windows NT for PowerPC, so yeah, I think the platform has always been PowerPC compatible-ish. Corona mounted Mario Sunshine. Wait, is that actually what it's called? It's been a minute since I've played Mario Sunshine. Oh, it is, yeah. I did 100% this game. I got all 120 stars, yes, including the blue coins. That shit sucked, but I did it. I'm not like I'm I like Sunshine. I know it's a very divisive title, but I don't love Sunshine. I'd say out of like from Sunshine, or from 64 to Sunshine to Galaxy 2, Sunshine is probably my least favorite, but it's still, if you go into, like, I remember when I went from Mario 64 to Sunshine the first time, I was like, what the hell is this shit? Like, it doesn't play anything like 64 really, but for what it is, I think it's all right. Oh yeah, NTS and Wild versions. Yeah, NT4 was on some crazy shit platforms. Yeah, the last one to be officially released on PowerPC, Alpha, and MIPS. Which I guess these still saw some use in like supercomputers for a while. If we actually look at supercomputers, you can see there's like a really interesting graph somewhere around here of supercomputer architectures. So like down here we've got the green and the stars, that was power, that's PowerPC, or that's power not PC, as in the same architecture but for supercomputers, not for personal computers. This is MIPS over here, as you can see, yes, it had some usage in the late 90s when NT4 was out. You had some RISC architectures around here, we had Alpha, that's another one that NT4 mentioned. Where's Itanium? That's the blue with the circles. Yeah, Itanium, when it was out, it was briefly, like, people shit on Itanium all the time, but it did see some adoption in supercomputers, for sure. Now it's pretty much all x86, 64, and I feel like that must just be for, like, it's good enough, and there's a lot of support and compatibility for it. So, I assume it's not necessarily the best supercomputer architecture. I mean, IBM Power not PC still sees some usage, and Xeon. Well, Xeon Phi, what's that? Is it still x86? Many core. Oh, it's got many cores, as in it's got like more than 8 or 16, I think. Surprised there's no ARM. Yeah, well, to be fair, I think ARM focused so heavily on the embedded stuff. Like, the fact that Apple just came out with a Mac Pro that's ARM-based is kind of a big deal. I don't know if there's ever really been a ARM used in a workstation before. Matt Casey's favorite programming language? I'd say I don't really have one. I'm kind of a use whatever tool is best for the job kind of guy. So I'm very familiar with C++, and that is often what I deal with, especially when working with old games, or even current games, technically. I do like C#. It's like a nice little... It's a nice language that's... It's not JavaScript, but you still don't have to do manual memory management. And if I'm writing like if I'm doing like a quick job, yeah, I'll probably write it in something like Python. Python is not my favorite syntax to write in, but like, you can get quick stuff done with Python. I would never write like a large-scale app in Python. If I'm just writing like something to process files, then sure, I'll write it in Python. JavaScript is a weird one. Obviously, you write in JavaScript for web, like there's not really much other option except for WebAssembly. Mostly you're going to be using JavaScript though, and JavaScript is I have a real love-hate relationship. Well, I don't even know if it's love. I have a like-hate relationship with it. Sometimes JavaScript is kind of nice to write in because it lets you do so much stuff that other languages don't let you do. However, I really don't like how JavaScript I think people have fought with me in the chat over this before. I don't like the whole asyncness of JavaScript. I don't like, and maybe it's just that I'm not like I'm just not used to it, so I have to like I just maybe it's a skill issue, but I don't like how when you call functions in JavaScript, like, so if you have two functions and this function calls this one will carry on to the next line while this function is still running, rather than like this returning and then going on to the next line. Again, that might just be because that's how I'm used to it working in every other language I've ever written, but yeah, that to me gets a little bit confusing, and I've run into problems with that with JavaScript before. But like I said, I'm sure JavaScript veterans, I'm sure it makes total sense too. That drives me very good. Yeah, like I said, Maybe it's just because I'm too used to other languages, but yeah. Pure C is the only way forward. Based, true. Objective-C syntax is insane. What do they think? I've never written any Objective-C. Even though I've written stuff for macOS, it's always been like C++, and then I'll use something like Qt, that'll handle the Objective-C stuff for me. I may have written like a couple wrappers so that I could use an Objective-C API in C++, but I've never really figured out Objective-C either, I have to say. Like, it's based on Smalltalk, isn't it? Smalltalk. It's something that was developed by Xerox PARC, I think. Oh, it's Smalltalk style. Huh. Yeah, it just evolved a completely different way. It didn't evolve from C to C++. It evolved from like some other shit to something else. What about Swift? Never written any Swift. I don't do a lot of... Generally, if I write something, I want it to be cross-platform. I don't think I've ever really been all that happy about my stuff being like platform exclusive, and Apple very much encourages you to write stuff that's Apple exclusive. So, yeah, so I've tended to avoid writing in Apple languages for the most part. Never written anything for iOS. Never written anything for... I mean, I've written stuff for Mac, but I've written it in C++ and then, used a porting toolkit or something like that. Holy C! That's a good one. That's a good language. I only use real languages. Holy C. Cross-platform? Java. Yeah, I mean... Java is a funny one as well, I won't lie. Subjective C. That's a lot better, yeah. Java, don't take up 6 GB of memory to print to the console challenge. Yeah. I think C# is better than Java, but at least, I mean, Java does have swing, so it has the like cross-platform UI out of the box, which C# doesn't have. So yeah, so the answer to the question of what's my favorite language, I don't know. There are languages that, depending on the situation, I might prefer over others, but I think it all comes down to like the situation. It's all down to what's the best thing for the situation. I used to just write everything in C++. I used to write, at one point my Twitch chatbot was in C++. I used to write like scripts and just if I needed to process some files, I used to write that in C++. Just because that was what I was most familiar with. And like if you use something like Qt, you get a lot of, I'd say you get almost everything that you get from something like C#, but you get it in C++, and you have to memory manage it and stuff. But you get so much stuff with Qt. Like you get your cryptographic hashes and your nice file utilities and your nice string utilities and lists and vectors. It really is kind of like a whole extra programming language. The amount of stuff they put into that. But I don't do that anymore. I will choose the easiest language for the job now. I tend to. Yeah, you do have to solder for an RGH. I mean, the 360 never had a legitimate soft mod, really. I mean, you could flash the drive firmware on earlier models to play pirated games, but that only worked for pirated games. All that did was say, like, the drive would be like, usually it will report, like, this is a burned disk. And all the flashing the firmware basically did was say, oh, this is a real disk. So you could pirate games. You still can't run homebrew or emulators or Linux or anything like that. To do that, you pretty much always need to solder in some capacity. But the RGH is probably the best thing you could hope for as far as soldering. It's literally these two wires. It's not difficult. I mean, it's a little, if you're just starting, it's surface mount soldering, so the points are small. That could be a bit of a challenge, but otherwise it's like, it ain't no PS2 mod chip. The PS2 mod chip, I mean, PS2 eventually got a soft mod, but if you wanted a hard mod, this is a 20 wire mod chip and it's still surface mount. This was I've done a couple of these. They are possible. They are tough though. You do got to scrape some of the board. That's also true. Yeah, you have to. This point here, C5 R35. This is not actually an exposed point. You have to use like a knife to just like scrape away to get the electrical signal. But like I said, as far as surface mount soldering goes, it's probably about as easy as you could hope for it to be. It's still challenging, but could be worse. Tried RGHing a Trinity, it wouldn't boot for some reason. I looked over my soldering everything, so I just had to undo the mod at a loss. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would have to look at it obviously, but that's unfortunate. I've had it. It is an involved process, because even though technically it's just these two wires, you do then like this mods it so you can run a modified firmware, but you do then have to use a flasher. You have to then solder a NAND flasher, which is 7 points, in order to flash the NAND to a modded firmware, which is the whole point. You want the modded firmware, and then you need these two wires to make sure that modded firmware actually runs. But these points aren't hard. These are pretty big points on the board. So, I mean, there are 7 of these that you have to deal with, so I guess you could argue it's a 9-wire mod, but these are pretty easy, and then afterwards you just remove these wires, and it's just these two. Never modded a 360, but it's on the bucket list. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna make a quick, like, 3-minute Matt KC Bytes video out of modding, or upgrading mine, because mine was already modded, and I just switched it to this mod. Mostly I did it because, you could argue that, like, well, it's already modded, and you already have all the advantages. Mostly I modded it just because I wanted that, like, instant boot, Yeah, I figured you can, so why not? My board could take some time. I never experimented with the timing files, because you're supposed to play around with timing files to get something that matches your system really well. I never did that, so my boot up times were kind of a mixed bag. Sometimes they would boot up, or sometimes it would boot up first try. Sometimes it would be boot looping for like a couple minutes. So I figured, firstly, it's just really cool that you can just solder in 2 wires, and that's all it is. But secondly, it's also better. So yeah, I modded a PS3. In fact, I did it on video. I modded several PS3s if you want to get technical. If you want to have a good laugh, join the Xbox 360 Hub Discord and check the modding gore section. Best example of why RGH is not a good way to start soldering. Yikes, yeah. Well, especially not when it was a more involved mod. But yeah, I guess that's the problem, is like, surface mount stuff just gets really tough. It's just, it's not impossible that when you're, applying your iron to these, like, that sounds like a euphemism, to these little components here, that you might, like, accidentally desolder one of them. That would be unlucky. It's possible. I mean, I do think it's a lot easier than it used to be with the 6-wire glitch chip. But yeah, I could certainly see how people could get caught up on that. PL too small for a beginner. I was hella lucky that I didn't kill my slims while doing it. Yeah, you're probably right. What you should practice with is a. I think what you ideally should practice with is something like an Arduino, because I'm trying to think, like, what would you? Oh, it thinks I'm in the south. That's kind of funny. Because I'm trying to think, like, what project would be best to experiment if someone was just getting started on soldering. What could they do? Because they obviously aren't going to do a PS2 mod bow. And they obviously, I mean, a PS1 mod chip, maybe? This is still debated. Wow. My video is the first result. That's interesting. This was, honestly, looking back, this wasn't done particularly well, but, like, It's fine. These points are pretty big, though. They're not so bad. Yeah, but you probably want to just build something with like a Arduino and a breadboard, because these are the nice big, not like this. These are nice big points you can play around with. Yeah, something like this, and an Arduino probably, and then you can build like a controller adapter or something. Like the one we built on stream, I built a Sega Genesis to Philips CDI controller adapter because I have a CDI, but I didn't have any controllers for it, and those MFs are expensive. What are they going for now? CDI controller. Woo! No, I don't know about that. Oh wow, someone built exactly what I built. But mine did not cost $65. Mine cost about like $5 worth of parts. But I mean, if it works, it works, right? I think that's even the same Arduino I used, so... I almost think it'd be kind of interesting to sell kits like this. Probably not for the CDI, because like, how many people have a CDI? But like, maybe a Genesis to PC adapter, people could build their own. I think that could be kind of fun. That could be an interesting kit to like get people into soldering. Spoon controller. Am I a joke to you? Yes. The answer is yes. I'm not eating soup, alright? I'm playing a game, okay? Are you the one from the front page of Google when you search PS1 mod chip? Yo, it's PS1 mod chip guy! That's me! If you want to RGH, you can get a dead console with the same MOBO as yours and try on that. That's also true. Maybe you could even try to fix it. The OG Xbox has a decent, doesn't have a difficult soldering either, I don't think. Because I mean, it's debatable. As long as you don't have a 1.6, essentially you just get these, what is this? That's a 12 pin header, and you just poke it through. I'm trying to find a picture of the board itself. Xbox motherboard. Yeah, here we go. Here's a nice scientific photo of it. Oh, they actually filled in. Oh, in that case, never mind. You have to like desolder all these. I thought they were holes, and I thought you would just poke these through and solder them, and then job done. But if you have to actually like, that might actually complicate things a little. Project Stellar, yeah, I've heard about that. I'm still willing. I'm still wondering if I should get one. So Project Stellar, if you don't know, is a new mod chip that came out, I think this year, January this year. And what it is, it's basically, it's similar to the previous mod chips, but it's kind of a version 2 big evolution of it. The previous mod chip that everyone was using was, well, there were mod chips throughout the 2000s, and then then Risey from the OGX 360 kind of reproduced it and made it open source, because he's a gigachad. And so it's the Open Xenium. So this is basically an open source clone of the mod chips that we had in the 2000s. And basically all it does is it overrides the BIOS. That's why it's got a big flash chip on it. And yeah, and that's, so you can run a modified BIOS. That's basically the whole the whole situation. And that modified BIOS will obviously let you run unsigned code and do like wacky stuff with the boot logo and whatnot. Project Stellar is like that, but kind of on steroids. It's got a micro SD card slot on it, so you don't even need a hard drive anymore. The Xbox has an original hard drive, as you know. I replaced mine with an SSD. But with this, you don't even need the SSD. You can just run hard drive and BIOS images right off your micro SD slot. The other good thing about the SD card is that this flash memory, this flash chip, this shit disappeared during the pandemic. Like, I remember I was considering doing a run of Open Xeniums myself, just so I'd sell them on my store and stuff like that. But these flash chips, they had like a 3-year wait time on them. That's how much the supply chain got hit during COVID. So these mod chips were like unobtainable for a while. Yo, thanks for the 100 bits.
Tier
SD's
100,
card.
I know nothing about ps2s or blocks modding, but here are some bits.
Thank you so much for the bits, I really appreciate it. And it also does a couple of other interesting things. You get like kernel debugging right on the board. You get, oh yeah, it's compatible with the Xbox HD, the HDMI mod, which I've done. Previously you had to use like a modified version of the Evo X BIOS on your OpenXenium to get the Xbox HD Plus to work, but this works with it directly, I believe. And it does some interesting things, like it supports Xbox One controllers. Ostensibly, you don't even need an OGX 360 then. You can load ISOs off the network, which could be kind of fun for if you have network-attached storage. Yeah, it's got a kernel-level optical drive emulator and stuff like that. It's got some interesting stuff in it, yeah. Someone said, never had a reason to mod chip when T-Sub Flash is easier. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I have a reason to mod chip because I have 1.6 Xboxes here, which, if you don't know, with the 1.6, they replaced the flashable BIOS with a ROM BIOS because they were like, well, this is going to be the last Xbox we make. Let's just make it a little bit harder for modders. Let's just make it read-only so that it makes it a little bit harder. So you have to use a mod chip on those, or you can soft mod, but soft mods are a little more dangerous. Like, they're tied to your hard drive, so if your hard drive dies, then you basically have to redo the soft mod completely over again. Also, if you don't get a copy of your EEPROM and your hard drive dies, then it's semi-bricked. You can get the EEPROM from the board, but you have to build an EEPROM reader. It becomes a whole mess that you don't have to deal with if you do the mod chip. So yeah. So I think if you're willing, the mod chip I think or mod chip / T-Sub Flash is generally better than a than a soft mod if you can do it. But the soft mod, I mean, it gets the job done. You get your homebrew and your game backups, all good. Jesus box update when? There isn't really anything to update, to be honest. It's still working, still good just as good as it was. Doesn't overheat. HDMI, very quiet. I still play it to this day. No issues really. I did pick up not pick up. Technically, I brought it from Australia. There's another Xbox I got with an original 2000s mod chip in it. And the reason why I got it is because it's got like all the bells and whistles, all the dip switches on the front that let you do kind of wild shit. I think that's the one I fixed in my Xbox leaky capacitor PSA video. And so I brought that one over because just in case I need to do some Xbox debugging or something like that. Jesus Box case remake. There was, what was it, like the Ghost case or something like that? Yeah, it was. Look, I don't know if I'm about to spend $200 on a case, but I remember these were pretty popular for a while. Basically a complete Xbox case remake, but it's transparent plastic. They're huh. So you can still buy them. I remember for a while they were like out of stock, but nothing screams 2000s like see-through cases. Yo, honestly, peak industrial design. I want a photo that really shows it. I need to get like a graphite. I misspelled it. Yeah, peak. Well done. Well done. Isn't there a meme about this? Translucent industrial design. No, this is just like just memes about industrial designers. That's not what I meant. Translucent electronics. Of course, when I try to find a meme, I can't find. Oh yeah, this. Okay, this is not exactly what I was looking for, but yeah, there was a bit of a trend of this sort of thing. And honestly, why did we ever move on? It's like MSN. Which brings me into a new topic. You might have seen, I retweeted this. I set up a MSN server on my VPS just so that my friends and I could relive the 2000s. And it looks like this. I mean, we're using MSN 7. I won't bring it up just because, you know, then I'm like leaking conversations and that's cringe. What's all this? What? Huh? This is this is it. This is what I'm using. MSN 7. Beautiful. Look at this. Why did we ever upgrade from this? Honestly, right? What was even the point? So yeah, we've been playing around with this client. It's really fun. You can do all sorts of weird shit. I remember you can like, I even did this back in the day. You can change your font in the message box, so you can send in like Comic Sans, which I did. You can add custom emotes. That's right. I didn't even have to pay for Discord Nitro to use custom emotes in my DMs. You can piss people off by sending nudges every 10 seconds. Good times, good times. And yeah, if you see, if I retweeted this, hang on, I'll go to my Twitter. You can do handwriting as well. So, oh, I'm on bullshit Elon Musk Twitter now. I have to switch to oh, maybe this isn't how this works. Clearly, okay, clearly I don't know how this site works. Anyway, how do I actually use? I thought I could just swap it out, but maybe not. Oh, it's knitter.net. There we go. My bad. Unless it's down. No, it's coming. It's just, oh, is this in mobile? Oh, it's just had it zoomed in. Yeah. So you can do handwriting. So of course Fami does loss, which, yeah, I mean, what else would you do? And yeah, and I have my font in purple Comic Sans. It's excellent. Excellent. Yeah, good times, good times. I'm actually thinking maybe I'll maybe I'll set something up so like you guys can join as well. We can all just hang out on MSN. It might be, again, like my email service, maybe I might make it like sub only just because otherwise people will like mess around with it. Probably people will do some shit maybe. But yeah, something like that could be fun. More of an AIM kid growing up. Hey, we also set up an AIM server. Don't worry, we've again, another rabbit hole that me and my friends have been going down. Again, what is this? Why is it? You mean people aren't talking about AIM and MSN anymore? What are you talking about? Yeah, we have yep, we have this boy running as well. We got an AIM server set up. Thanks Reddit. Nice website, assholes. Yeah, we got one of these set up. We've been playing around with this as well. I never grew up with AIM, so this is, for me, AIM is more like archaeology. It's more like, oh wow, this is how it worked. This is how it worked back then. Whereas MSN is like, that's my memories, so that's why I kind of focused on that. But yeah, we've been playing around with AOL as well. We might even try and get Yahoo Messenger up as well, which is another one that I didn't grow up with, but hey, you know, that could be fun. I wonder if, I mean, people probably will, right? They'll probably... Can you imagine in like 10 years if people will try to resurrect like Discord 1.0, the original Discord client or something like that? I feel like someone must. Someone will probably do that. I think these chat servers, because everyone has really good memories with them, there's a high demand for bringing them back and like making server emulators. So yeah, so I might make an MSN, or I might make a... So there's a couple services that I need to open up for you guys. I need to make like an email service for billgates.sex and doin'your.mom. I need to open up like MSN. I need to open up like AIM. And yeah, like I said, it might end up being sub only just so it's not like, it doesn't get ridiculously spammy or anything like that. But hopefully it's still a lot of fun. What did the original Discord even look like? I joined in, I think, well, I joined twice technically. The first time I joined was April 2016 because I was part of a like speedrun marathon and we were all on Discord. That was the first time I'd ever heard of it. And then I like completely forgot about that account, I think, and then I had to make a new account in late 2016 because I think some viewers of mine were like, hey, I'm gonna make a Discord for you, and I was like, I don't know what that means, but sure. So, and then I joined that Discord. So I think I made a second account then. So in theory, I have a like orphaned account somewhere, but I don't know if I ever used like Discord, the original. Wow, did it really look like this? Did they have no actual dark mode? Yeah, I know there's Escargo, but it's more fun when I host it. Old Chord client. Bring old Discord back to life. 2018 Chord. Was Discord that different in 2018? I don't, like... I was definitely around on Discord at that point in time, but I don't remember... I feel like when you have... Nowadays, there's like... Everything is on like a rolling release, so you never really notice when things upgrade. It's always just like little tweaks here and there. Except for when they change the font, and then you're just like, ugh, this sucks. 2020 Discord was hugely different. Outside of the changed font, I can't remember anything like significantly changing. Thing is, I don't know if these are just like articles and shit. Damn it, I don't have numlock on. If this is 2017, I don't know, it looks pretty much the same to me. Am I wrong? Does it not look kind of pretty much the same? I remember when Blurple was less saturated, that was nice. Dimensions are square. Are they not square anymore? I've never noticed that before. I'm trying to look. Clearly, look, I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't spend a lot of time on Discord, clearly. They're round now. I never noticed. That's just me. I guess that's just me. Anyway. Yeah, the outrage for the logo and font change. I do remember that. I will say, I think I do... Let's actually see. What Discord previous font. I feel like I probably would still... Yeah, I think I still prefer the old font. Even though I'm used to the new font now, I think I still prefer the old one. I mean, I don't care enough to like do anything about it, but like, yeah, probably. They temporarily removed dark mode for a day, didn't they? But as a joke. Yeah, I think so. I think that might have been an April Fool's thing. When did Discord come out? Was it 2015? Why do I still not have numlock on? History of Discord. It's an 8-minute video. I don't know if I care to watch an 8-minute video. Is this an old screenshot? This does look a little different. Like the color scheme is certainly different, but it's still mostly the same though. Interesting. Anyway, this is a rabbit hole I didn't mean to get down. The point is, yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with old server emulators now. Didn't understand why they were so outraged when it was just an icon change. The icon change, hang on, Discord icon change. Also, let me get some new music going. I've played the Sonic R soundtrack like two times through. So time for a change. It's time to stop. Sorry. Another VLC moment. VLC doesn't let you really set the volume before it starts playing. Sorry. Alright, there you go. I do know the icon changed. Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like... Yeah, it's definitely changed. It's more like bulbous and minimal, I suppose. It's got less fine detail in it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I ever cared enough about the logo. I do think, to a certain extent, it's kind of unfortunate that they, let's say, over time, and I can see why they did this, because they want it to be as widespread and generally accessible as possible. But I do think it's kind of unfortunate that it did seem like Discord used to have more personality than it does nowadays. They've kind of sucked a lot of the personality out of it. And like I said, I get it as insofar as, you know, kind of Discord is a big platform now and they need to be as widely accessible as possible. But also, isn't it nice when your software has some personality to it? I mean, a lot of software doesn't have any personality to it nowadays. That's kind of like the defining characteristic of UI design today, is it's all like gray and just a solid color square. Screw it, the only design guidelines I like are these. Hang on, what's this? Yo, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's funny because like pixel art is a big deal now, but no one ever talks about these icons as pixel art. They're actually pixel art because they're trying to, you know, fit these graphics into, you know, 32 by 32 or 16 by 16. Everyone just talks about, you know, Game Boy and NES, but no, these are legitimate pixel art, and it's kind of, you know, it's impressive, I think. I used to love looking at these icons back in the day when I was like, God, I would have been like 7. I used to love looking at these and be like, how do you do that? You know, how do you make something that small like this, the network neighborhood icon? How do you make something that small look like it's kind of 3D? You know, with just dots, right? It was mind-blowing to me, but like no one really talks about that. It's not as impressive because there are less limitations. I guess, but I mean, nowadays pixel art, like, I feel like a lot of pixel art games don't bother with the color limitations. It's just about like they're making art, and it's like 16 by 16. It's like I made pixel art, you know. I don't know if people are necessarily all that into the. Well, I mean, yeah, it's more impressive, but I feel like a lot of pixel art it doesn't necessarily focus on that. Uploaded a copy of Cube Doom. Someone actually did it? Yo, you had a copy? Nice. I'll actually have to try to I have to try that, but I have to try that out at some point for sure. Anyway, enough rabbit holes. Let's get to the main topic of conversation, I think. Is that all I wanted to talk about? Oh, I guess there is something. I never played Titanfall. If the game is like older than... If the game is newer than like 2012, it's probably like a 50-50 chance that I haven't played it. PS2 time? Almost. There's one more thing I do want to talk about, which is that last stream I was trying to backport .NET to Windows 95. In theory, it works on it officially supported Windows 98 2nd edition, and there's even a statement from a Microsoft employee who said something like, well, technically there's not that much difference between 95 and 98, but we wanted to, you know, just focus on the majority of our users. We didn't want to have to delay the product just to get it working on 95. Etc., etc. You know, the normal reasons why something, you know, business decisions are made in software. But he admitted that, you know, well, in theory, there's not that much difference. So it could run, and I took that personally. So what I've been doing for the last, like, it's been almost a week. I think I started last Friday, and I'm so unbelievably close. Because what I've gotten... So since then, last time I was like freaking out because I had no idea how this... Like I thought this was basically black magic. Like how does... So let me get a Windows 98 VM going. Hang on. Let me also check my volume levels. Oh, that's okay. It's just my headphones are a bit loud. There we go, better. So, let me grab. Let's all pay our respects to Windows 98. And what I've gotten so far. What's the least abrasive way I can do this? I guess that's fine. I don't know if I should go to the effort of like cropping and and sizing it properly. So I'm gonna jump back to an earlier state. So yeah, I had no idea how any of this .NET stuff worked. There are clearly .NET experts that know a lot more than I do. But over time, I've slowly figured it out. And the point where I've gotten up to is, again, we're on 98, we're not on Windows 95 yet. Haven't gotten that far yet, but what I have done is I basically reproduced the entire Windows 95 installer, the entire .NET installer, so that I can start, and I've reproduced it in an installer that will work on Windows 95. So from here, I can tweak it, I can install exactly what needs to be done, I can install, modified versions of the DLL so that it will actually work on Windows 95. So here's the install process. Install a bunch of files, run a bunch of utilities, flicker warning, I guess, and all of a sudden, .NET apps work. They're a little slow because I do a lot of logging. Basically, every function logs to this file, so it's a little slow. But when I turn that off, it's perfectly fine. According to Tyler, I thought you were tired. I am tired. I guess I'm. I guess I'm energized talking about MSN and Xbox modding. So, yeah, and it works. It works just about how you expect it to. I don't have Lego eye. Oh, maybe I. No, I don't. This is a blank slate. So, this is like, as far as I'm concerned, this is like 50% impressive. I've managed to reproduce the entire Windows 95 installer. Now, as far as getting Windows 95, oh no, the .NET installer. I keep calling it the Windows 95 installer. I managed to recreate the entire Windows. Almost did it again. I managed to recreate the entire .NET installer. Now, this installer does run on Windows 95. That was the key to this. That was the key reason I wanted to recreate the installers, because the original installer doesn't even run. It doesn't even try to run. It says something like, it's just missing too much stuff. And I was like, well, I could spend a lot of time trying to get the installer to work, or I could just recreate the installer and just do what it needs to do. And I think I was right in the end that recreating the installer was faster. For a while, I was like, man, I have no idea how this shit works. But I think I figured it out in the end. So here we go. It does run. The installer runs, copies all the files in, it creates all the registry entries it needs to create. It runs the tools it needs to create. Oh, it needs to run, I should say. But it still doesn't quite work. Still getting an error. But, I mean, it is so close. It is unbelievably close. And I've got like some, I don't have them installed at the moment. I've got some debugging tools on here that make it, should make short work of this, this error that I'm seeing. And I think we're actually gonna get .NET on Windows 95, which means, crucially, if you're wondering why the point of all this is, or what the point of all this is, it's merely so that you can, if I am writing something like, Lego Island Rebuilder, I could spend time fiddling with the old UI toolkits that were available on Windows 95, like, MFC, or God forbid, the raw Win32 API, or I could just write it in C#, and I have a much easier time pulling it off. And so, yeah, the whole idea is just that it kind of adds program compatibility to Windows 95. It's kind of, it backports a whole, like, genre of programs back to Windows 95 that previously wouldn't be able to run. Now, I don't know how far this goes. So far, I've only committed to backporting .NET 2.0, which I know is old, but it's the last version that supported 98, so it's the last version that I'm like, okay, well, I'm pretty sure this will work on 95. So as long as you're okay with writing for .NET 2.0, you should, after this, be able to deploy on, well, all versions of Windows that are 32-bit up, essentially. And the other thing is, the other thing that's nice about .NET is that Microsoft supported it better than they supported certain other things. I find like .NET stuff tends to work just as well on like Windows 11 as it did on, here on Windows 98 Second Edition. Whereas if you're writing stuff for the raw Win32 API, some stuff sometimes doesn't work quite as well. And so, yeah, they were just a little bit, I guess .NET is kind of a bit of a sandbox, so maybe it was easier to support. But I also think maybe they put a little bit more care and attention into it. So that's another reason that I think it would be cool to have .NET on 95. And then, like I said, you cover all the versions of 32-bit Windows, basically all the versions that at least I care about. I mean, I'm sure someone cares about Windows 3.1 and stuff, but I never grew up with those, so I don't have the nostalgia for them. WinAPI is a thing, but it has cool functionality. Oh, sure. I mean, I'm not necessarily complaining about the Win32 API. I'm just saying that it is not necessarily the easiest thing to write. Anyway, so like I said, really close, really close. It's funny how this icon doesn't render properly. I've always wondered why that is. Like here, it's full color. Here we're running in true color, but it just doesn't show in true color for some reason. I always thought that was kind of interesting. Windows 95 moment, I guess. .NET is just Windows Java? Yeah, I'd say that's probably accurate. I'd say .NET is a little better designed than Java, but in principle they're the same thing. They compile into an intermediate language, and then they direct into machine language at runtime on the user's system. Yeah, so that's basically it. I hate how modern parts of the API are thought for C++, and it really grinds my gears as someone who does C and refuses to learn the plus part. Interesting. I mean, I know a lot of C++. However, I do think I am weary of mixing C and C++ when most of the Win32 API is C. But I also know that, like, I've read journalist articles that are saying stuff like, Windows is really suffering because they still have to write so much in C. So I'm sympathetic. I'm just shutting down my VMs. You know what really sucks about Windows though? Unicode. Like, I get it. UTF-8 didn't exist back then, but still, like, what a fucking mess. They're always having to convert between, ANSI and UTF-16 all the time. I hate that so much. When's Carbon coming out? You mean Windows Carbon? That would be interesting, to convert the whole thing into modern API. I mean, I think Windows has had tremendous... when you look back, it's kind of amazing what they accomplished backwards compatibility-wise. I know that, like, a lot of stuff doesn't work on the latest Windows that used to work, but for the most part, they've put a lot of effort into making sure that old stuff still works, and especially because they had so many competing standards for a while. They went from, like, DOS, and then Windows that ran on DOS, to 9X, which is kind of Windows on DOS, but it's technically not. In theory, 9X is like, DOS is used as like the loader, and then it stays resident in memory, but then when the Windows kernel loads, it's kind of, it's not really running on DOS anymore. And then at the same time, they were developing NT, and they wanted, apps between the two to be compatible, between 9X and NT. And, yeah, for considering how much stuff they were maintaining simultaneously in the 90s, the fact that it all kind of converged together into something that actually sort of works at all is kind of amazing. When am I going to stream Switch Homebrew? One day, yeah. I do want to mod my Switch on stream. People tell me that Nintendo will DMCA me, but I don't believe them, so I think I'm just gonna do it. Is this a PS2 motherboard? No, it's a Xbox 360 motherboard. We were talking about RGHing earlier in the stream because I just upgraded my 360 from a RGH, I think it was an sRGH 1.2. No. Or what was it? Maybe it was just an sRGH. What? I forgot what they are. RGH. Reset glitch hack. Oh, I think it was just an sRGH actually. Which, you know, it was alright. You know, oftentimes it would boot relatively quickly, but sometimes it would get stuck for like minutes at a time. Sometimes it would be immediately, first try. Sometimes it would be like, you know, third or fourth try. Sometimes it would be stuck boot looping for minutes, and I'd just be like, okay, come on, alright. It was cute at first, but come on now, alright? So that's kind of why I was like, you know what? Not only is it cool that you can mod with 2 wires, I'd like an insta-boot every time. So that's why I finally upgraded it. Nintendo watching me down. The Nintendo ninjas, they're after me again! Yeah, so I think I'm just good. I think I'm gonna do it one day and it'll be a lot of fun. I won't get DMCA'd and we'll be all good. Oh yeah, good reminder to use dummy account upon the Switch or else your main account will be banned. Yeah. I'm hoping to try that like, yeah, I'm hoping to be as like online safe as possible, because if I can hold on to the online on this system, I mean I don't need this one to play online, but just in case, I'd like to hold on to the online as much as possible, so I'll try to be as safe as I can. I know that there's like, now you can kind of dual boot, like a firmware that's unmodded for online and a firmware that's modded where online is blocked. That's what I've heard. I haven't really deeply looked into it, but it sounds like it should be possible to maintain both. Do you think the Switch will eventually overtake PS2's sales? Where are we at? I think if any console could do it, it would be the Switch, because the Switch they did such a good job making that like ubiquitous. I mean, hell, it even sold more than the Wii, and the Wii sold a lot. Yeah, I'd say if any console was to do that, it would be the Switch. There was an article that said Sony reckoned the PS5 was going to overtake the PS2, and I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I said this last time when we read that article, but like, I still don't really know anyone with a PS5. Like, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just getting old. You know what? I'm only a couple years off 30. Maybe all my friends are just old and we all just switched to PC gaming. But I don't know. I feel like I still never hear about the PS5. I'm still in that mode of like, oh, it's really hard to get because of the pandemic. But like, that hasn't been true for years. So I do. Well, there you go. Maybe it's just me. Maybe just my friends are all PC gamers. PS5 is pointless, costs a lot, isn't that powerful? Oof. Don't let the Sony ninjas hear you say that. Have a PS5 I haven't turned on in months. Oh, someone sent me a tweet the other day. Hang on. Or yesterday, actually. Hang on, I gotta show this. Because it's true. I finally figured out why the PS5 is designed the way it is, alright? I finally got it. It all makes sense, right? I was wondering, like, you know, why does it look like, you know, two sheets of paper sandwiching something? No, this is it. It all makes sense, alright? I only know one person with a PS5. Yeah, actually, I think I might know one person with a PS5. But I think that's it. Maybe all my friends are just PC gamers and emulators, and like, maybe they're all stuck in the 90s and 2000s like me. Me who uses MSN 7 to this day.
Cheer 100, can we get back to doing Windows 95 C number sign like last time?
C number sign? Now that's a good language. The .NET on Windows 95? Yeah, I mean, maybe. Like, we'll see how much time I've got. 'Cause, and this is true, I have to vote. Australia is doing a referendum, and voting is mandatory in Australia, and I never took my name off the voter roll. So, like, you know, when you're moving to another country, I think you're in theory supposed to take, if you know you're going to be away for, I think, 6 years or more, you're supposed to take your name off the voter roll. Now, I guess I don't know how long I've been away. I'm going to be away for. It could be 6 years, or it could be, you know, 2, 4. Actually, no, it's already been 2. It could be like 4. So, in theory, it's like I could take my name off the voter roll, but I don't necessarily have to, and I haven't yet. So I'm about to be some foreign interference in an Australian election. Voting is mandatory. Is it enforced? Yeah, but only lightly. Like they'll send you like a failed to vote fee for like I don't even know if it's that much. It might even I think it might only be like $20 or something like that. Australia failed to vote fee. Oh, $55 fine in New South Wales. But this is like a federal thing, so federal didn't vote? Question mark? Why do I imagine like the troll face asking that question? Yeah, I don't know exactly what the fee is, but fine. Fine, that's the word I was looking for. See, you can tell I'm tired because I'm having trouble like making words. I might still be like energetic because I'm excited about talking about this stuff, but I'm tired because I'm having trouble formulating sentences. It's a $20 fee, so it's actually not that bad, but I guess it's like, you know, if I can and I'm gonna be fined, I may as well just vote, you know. Albanese will be on live TV protesting. He'd be like, oh, I've had enough of this Matt KC. I'm revoking his citizenship right now. That's probably, I don't know. Actually, I don't know if I've ever heard him speak. I don't know if he sounds like that. I'm just putting on a Australian accent for no reason. Didn't vote. Problem? Yeah. So the voting deadline is in Australia. It's the 14th. But oh, hang on. You can't see the calendar I just popped up. It was behind my webcam. Do I have a calendar like on the system? I guess I can just. Here we go. So, the deadline is on the 14th. So in theory, I've got 2 days. However, Australian time is a day ahead of me. So time in AEST, I think. It's already Friday. So it's Thursday here. The deadline is on Saturday, but in Australia, it's already Friday. So I'm kind of like, you know, should I risk voting? You know, I shouldn't. I could vote tomorrow, but maybe I should vote today, just in case. What question are you voting for? Okay, so I think it's. Hang on, I'm risking getting into politics here. The question is, should like an amendment? I think should an amendment be added to the Australian Constitution to add like a team for Aboriginal people? I guess I should look it up. Aboriginal referendum. The question is, a proposed law to alter the Constitution to recognise the First Peoples of Australia by establishing an Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander voice. Do you approve the proposed alteration? Yeah, anyway. So I'll have to vote on that. Clive getting into politics. Oh no! Am I becoming a politics streamer already? Anyway, so I'm going to vote on that, and because I don't want to pay 20 entire Australian dollars. And yeah, and so all that means is I just have to drive down to the consulate, which is like 20 minutes away from me. And I believe I just show up and I'm just like, g'day, I'm here to vote. And then they'll be like, oh, right on, mate. And then I'll do it. I think that's how it'll go. Oh no, I'm already getting cancelled. Ugh, this is... I venture into politics once on stream and I'm already getting cancelled. How could this happen? Yeah. Does it involve you calling someone or multiple people cunts? I think so, yeah. I think it would be un-Australian if I didn't. And then they give you a prawn off the barbie and you're on your way. Actually, you say that, but you're not entirely wrong. So this is a thing in Australia. This is called a, well, I actually don't know what this is called. I think colloquially we just call it a sausage sizzle, where, you know, someone stands with a barbecue, they cook up some Australian beef snags, and you put it in a slice of bread, you put some sauce on it, optionally you put onions or maybe cheese on it, and it's a sausage sizzle. And it's a very common thing in Australia. You know, they have them outside hardware stores like Bunnings. When we used to go for charity walks at school, they would have a sausage sizzle at the end to congratulate us on walking like 16 kilometers. And yeah, so, and they have them when you vote, when you go to the polling place, because you have to do it, they have a guy with a barbecue out the front, and you can buy a democracy sausage, a sausage sizzle. It costs like $1 or $2, I think, so it's not free. You don't get one for free for voting. But you get you spend like $1 or $2 and you get a democracy sausage, and it's a good day out for the whole family. So you say that, you know, they put a prawn on the barbie for me. Well, you know, if they aren't standing out the front with a goddamn sausage sizzle, I'm gonna be fucking disappointed, okay?
Cheer 100 democracy sausage sounds very American.
You know, it could be. I mean, I guess sausages are not as popular in America, I don't think. If it was America, it'd probably be democracy burgers. Sausages, I think, from what I can tell, sausages are more ubiquitous in Australia and probably in Britain as well, because you got like Greg's sausage rolls and shit like that. I do love a good Greg's sausage roll. As an Aussie, lamb or beef? Oh god. You're really asking the tough questions here. I mean, lamb chops are pretty good. I feel like I'm gonna say beef though. I know it's boring, but in Australia, the lamb industry, there's like a whole thing. The lamb industry is huge. They run annual ads. I don't know if they still do, but for a while, the lamb industry would run an ad being like, it's downright un-Australian if you don't eat lamb. Yeah, they literally, they run so many of these. 2016, 2019, 2015, yeah, so, and they're just kind of goofy and silly, and I guess they piss off vegans, but yeah, anyway, this is a real peek into Australian culture. Is the Australian lamb industry running annual commercials. They're like an event, I guess. Shrek. Yeah. You can tell we were looking up a lot of Shrek speedruns because they're always recommending them to me now. Yo, look at these check out those graphics. I'd like to get my hands on that game. Yo, Bam 01225. Thank you so much for the Prime sub. Thanks for the Bezos bucks. I really appreciate it. Enjoy spamming Matt KC feet. That's all I have to offer you right now. Until I get a doing your mom email service up and running, which I will do. I promise you I will do it. Here in America, we measure in morbidly large washing machines and basketballs. Oh yeah, hang on, I need to find a meme real quick. It's a stupid meme. It's just it just made me laugh. Yeah, this one. Look, I'm one of the few people that will defend using feet and inches, but it is quite literally, feet did come from like the length of the average person's foot. But like I said, I grew up with the metric system. That's what's like most familiar to me. But I will say, for like really imprecise measurements, it can be a little easier sometimes to say like, oh, it's a couple inches, or oh, it's a couple feet, than to say like, oh, it's like 2/3 of a meter, or it's, you know, a meter and a half. You know, I think if you're doing science, got to use the metric system. Even Americans will agree that, you know, Americans in science will use the metric system. But I do think, if you're talking about, I think the problem for me is that a centimeter is fairly small and a meter is fairly big. There's nothing really in between. So I feel like feet and inches is kind of not a bad, like, ballpark, like, oh, it's a couple feet, oh, it's a couple inches. Something in between a centimeter and a meter. That's where I think feet and inches are not so bad. That being said, I hate pounds and ounces. I still haven't figured out pounds and ounces. All my scales are set to grams and kilograms, which is really confusing because like I'll weigh stuff. Like if I sell something on eBay and I have to ship it out, I'll print like a label and it'll be like, how much does this weigh in pounds and ounces? And I'll have my scale set to kilograms. And I'll be like, well, it's about 5 kilograms. And I'll have to do like a conversion. I could just set my scales, but then like I have to set it back later on. It's really annoying. A decimeter, but no one knows what a decimeter
How
is.
there is like a canonical meter or kilogram stored somewhere. Do you think the Imperials have a canonical unified foot stored in the same way?
No. Well, I know what it is. Actually, imperial measurements are like officially they're measured in terms of metric measurements. Like they had to modify them. I think like the size of a foot I think slightly changed because they had to. They. Maybe I'm getting this wrong. Actually, I need to hang on. What do I say? Streamers shouldn't make claims without backing up their source. What's the reference for a foot? Consequently, the international foot is defined to be equal to 0.3048 meters, equivalent to. Okay. But did they have to like? Vary in length from country to country. The United States is the only industrial country that uses the international foot in preference to the meter in its commercial, engineering, and standards activities. The foot is legally recognized in the United Kingdom. Road signs must use imperial signs. However, distances on road signs are always marked in miles or yards, not feet. While its usage is widespread among the British public as a measurement of height, the foot is recognized as an alternate expression of length in Canada. Officially defined. The length of an international foot corresponds to a unit. But like, anyway, all right. So, but I don't know about if it had to change at some point. But officially, right now, it's defined in terms of millimeters and meters. It's defined as in relation to a metric measurement. Got a reference right here. True. Oh yeah, that might be what I was thinking of. I think that's what I was thinking of. That a meter used to be defined by a random bit of metal, but now it's based on how much light travels in a set amount of time. Yeah, so a meter changed by like very very slightly at some point. The length of a meter changed so that it could be. Because you want it to be a constant. If it's an object somewhere, well, the object might slowly decay over the course of thousands of years, or someone might steal the object. You never know what will happen. So you want it to be based on something that can be really easily reproducible. So that's why, length of light or speed of light, or what is it? Distance of light in a certain amount of time is relatively constant. Like no one's gonna steal that probably, unless like Doofenshmirtz comes up with an idea, or Gru from Despicable Me. Imagine stealing the meter! Yo! True! Since school, the most common rules we had were 30 centimeter ones, so I kind of had this size in my head to measure things not too small to big. Yeah, I mean, in theory, that's also a foot-long ruler. It's a 30 centimeter / foot ruler. Yeah, the entire imperial system is officially defined by the metric system, yeah. Paleontology wiki, oh god, yeah, there's a wiki for everything. Imagine you're sitting on an empty subway at night, you're waiting for the last train, only some passed out homeless men sleeping on the benches. In the distance, you can hear distant train traffic and light wind noise. You're very tired, about to snooze a little until your train comes. One of the homeless men lets out a fart that fills the whole station and your eyes pop wide open. You shout, "Yo, thanks for the sub." We did this during the Shrekathon. I have a reverb on my, hang on. I can do an impression of the notification sound real quick. Oh, Someone already did it for me.
In metric, 1 milliliter of water occupies 1 cubic centimeter, weighs 1 gram, and requires 1 calorie of energy to heat up by 1 degree centigrade hyphen, which is 1% of the difference between its freezing point and its boiling point. An amount of hydrogen weighing the same amount has exactly 1 mole of atoms in it. Cheer
Yep.
100. Whereas in the American system, the answer to how much energy does it take to boil a room temperature gallon of water is go asterisk yourself, because you can't directly relate
Go
any of those
asterisk,
quantities.
asterisk,
Wild Thing by
yourself.
Josh Gazelle. Cheer 100.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. That's what I tried to. I've had this problem with Americans before, actually. I mean, wait, that sounded like it was. That sounded like it was going to be a little charged. I'm just saying, in general, I've had an issue where, like, Google Maps would say, "Oh, it's like 0.8 miles or point something miles," and they would be like, "Huh." I don't know if I can. They were having trouble like picturing how long that was, and I was like, "Oh well, it's because I was trying to figure out how many feet that would be, and it's like, because how many feet are in a mile? Well, 5,280, I think, and that's some tough mental arithmetic to do in your head to be like, well, 0.8 times 5,280. You know, it's so much easier in metric. You can just be like, well, if it's 0.8 of a kilometer, then it's 800 meters. It's like, okay, well, I know what that means, you know. So yeah, it's I mean, metric as a system, if you're going to only know one system, metric makes the most sense. Absolutely. Especially because, like, you know, then you can, especially in like science, as I was saying, science and physics is it's just so much easier to work with. But like I said, if you're being really imprecise and you're just like, yeah, and it's just like, you know, a couple feet or a couple inches, I think it's worth knowing a couple feet and a couple inches. That's all I say. I don't care for pounds and ounces. Don't care for fluid ounces. Miles. The thing about miles is that you don't really actively deal with them. Like you just go. Your car goes the number of miles per hour that it says on the street signs, and you drive the number of miles that it says on your GPS. Like you don't really interface with kilometers or miles in modern society that closely. So as far as I'm concerned, it's kind of more or less the same. I mean, it would be nice to be able to do that meter kilometer conversion that you can do with feet and miles, but you can't. So yeah, it's inferior, but as in daily life, it's roughly about the same. I bet you a pack of 5 gum and a choco chip cookie to bring Bonzi Buddy back. My desktop is empty like the toilet paper aisle. Are we gonna resurrect Bonzi Buddy? Isn't that actually just malware though? Like, what is that? At least on MSN, you talk to your friends. I mean, maybe one day I'll look into how Bonzi Buddy works. Yeah. Anyway, all of that is to say that at some point today, I should probably vote. Though I could leave it till tomorrow. I could just about. I mean, tomorrow is certainly the last day, because tomorrow it's actually going to be the 14th in Australia, so it's going to be the deadline. Whereas today, I'm kind of like, you know, I'm being a little bit breezier about it. I'm voting, you know, have a whole day buffer on both ends of the world, both hemispheres. So, you know, I could be safer and do it today, but I could get away with doing it tomorrow. So we'll see. I might end early-ish. Oh yeah, and the consulate closes at 5, and it's 2:30. So, so yeah. I'd say do it today to give yourself some lead time in case you get fucked by time zones. Yeah, I mean, quite possibly. The thing is, tomorrow should be fine for time zones just because the 14th is as long as I do it early enough. But yeah, it's probably smarter to do it today. Did I just hear we're reviving MSN? No, I already did. Well, technically it wasn't me. I used an off-the-shelf open source server emulator, but yeah, I run a MSN server on my I run an MSN emulator on my server And I'm hoping at some point to open it up to you guys so you can you can join and we can all hang out. Obviously, it's for novelty. It's not. I'm not proposing that we all ditch Discord and use MSN, but you know, it is a little bit of fun. Streams the voting process. Yeah, I'm not supposed to do. Actually, I don't know if there's any law against like. Oh, I think there might be. Maybe you're not supposed to take photos in there. So you're probably not supposed to film. I am proposing that. MSN superiority based. Can I put a translator on my stream? What does that mean? Like, captions in another language? That instead of Twitch chat, the whole day it'll just be like dun-dun-dun, 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 because it has that MSN sound. MSN sound. There we go. Ayy. Forbidden in Italy like actual felony. I can imagine it probably isn't. It's probably fairly fairly universal just because, you know, that's kind of the whole point of democracy is that no one is supposed to be able to sway your vote and stuff like that. So yeah, I can imagine that they would explicitly forbid it. It's probably illegal, but if you promise not to call the cops, no one cares. Guys, don't tell anyone, alright? I'm just keeping this between me and you. I'm gonna stream. No, I'm kidding. No, I'll just go in. I'll go in by myself. I'm just gonna be disappointed if I don't get a democracy sausage afterwards. Like, that's such a key part of the Australian voting system. Like, have you even done democracy if you don't get a sausage afterwards? Yeah, here they are. Cooking the sausages on the barbecue. Wait, what's that? What's that flat stuff over there? Oh, is he toasting the bread? Bro, that's some gourmet shit there. That's some gourmet shit. We don't usually toast the bread. See, look, this is just plain white bread. Like, nothing special about that. He's going above and beyond. It's bacon. Is it? Oh, it is. It's bacon. You're right. I was like, it looks so white on my monitor. Maybe my monitors are set funny. Bacon pancakes. True. No, my bad. Yeah, it's bacon. It just looks so white on my screen. I was so confused. My bad. The gingerbread man stamp. Interesting. I wonder actually. I don't know what that's for. I'll be honest. Maybe he makes like a bacon sandwich and he like, for kids, he'll make like a gingerbread shaped one. Come for the Matt KC and stay for the Australian culture lessons. That's what I'm here for. I bridge the gap. All right. You guys ever heard of drop bears? Oh God. All I can think of now is the sausage. Yeah. I assume you mean Gordon Ramsay. Yeah. What a good meme. This is Gordon Ramsay voting for the next Australian Prime Minister. We don't have sausage rolls, but we do have pork roll. Huh. In New Jersey, eh? What is this? I don't know what this is. Oh, it's one of these, and you like slice it up. Interesting. Okay, that could be alright. I mean, as alright as like any other cured meat, I suppose, or like sandwich meat. Don't know any. I've literally never heard of this. I have heard of this though. You guys eat any cannibal sandwiches? Oh, there's nothing on the Wikipedia page. Apparently, I hear. So this is raw beef and onion on a slice of bread, and apparently this is rather popular in some parts of Wisconsin. So popular that the Wisconsin like health department is advising people to not eat it. Because, so from what I've heard, oh yeah, raw meat on rye. What I've heard is this was imported from, like a German tradition. And in Germany, I believe the quality of the beef that they did this with was better than the average USDA beef. So the Wisconsin Department of Health is saying, please do not consume this. Our beef is not that good. Wisconsin residents are being urged by health officials to pass on like I said, I'm tired. Wisconsin residents are being urged by health officials to pass on eating a traditional holiday dish this year to avoid getting sick. A cannibal sandwich, considered a holiday favorite in the state, consists of raw ground beef on bread with sliced onions, salt, and pepper. But eating raw meat is never recommended because of the bacteria it can contain, the Wisconsin Department of Health Services said in a tweet on Saturday. DHS, which said it issues this reminder annually, elaborated on its warning in another social media post. Time for another annual reminder that there's one #holiday tradition you need to pass on: raw meat sandwiches, sometimes called tiger meat or cannibal sandwiches. Yeah, but as most advisories from the government, I think people, at least in America, I think people just ignored it and kept doing it anyway. The quality of the beef they do that with in Germany is called pork. Oh, maybe. I don't know anything about it in Germany. That's just what I read, that it was, that's where it came from. In Germany, the meat quality is really high. It's like same day fresh. Yo! I guess it's kind of like sushi grade fish. Like, you can't just eat any salmon raw. You're supposed to get like the good stuff to eat it raw. And I guess these people don't. They just grab the whatever ground beef from the Piggly Wiggly. Actually, what supermarkets are in Wisconsin? That one I think is a southern one. But yeah. Raw meat on bread with onions just sounds so bad. You know, I originally thought the same about raw fish, but raw fish is actually pretty good. So like, I'm reserving judgment. I've never tried this, but I'm reserving judgment until like, maybe until I go to Germany and try like a real one, you know, not some shit from the supermarket. Piggly Wiggly is in Wisconsin. Based. Yo, I love me a Piggly Wiggly. Yeah, so I'm not trying to eat no raw beef from the Piggly Wiggly. I might try if I can get something like this in Germany. Maybe I'll try it there, and I'll reserve judgment until I try it. Okay. Ralph's is pretty good, and Vons. I'd like to imagine that you didn't say that. Which part? The part that I said I'll try it? Hey, I'll try anything at least once. Yo, they got me down here. See also, met. What is this actually? Oh, this is the raw pork on that people were talking about. Okay, so it is real, yeah. Since the 1950s, met has been offered as a buffet dish, decoratively formed into the shape of a hedgehog. Yo, gotta go fast. German law forbids met being sold with a fat content exceeding 35%. That's how you can tell it's not America. Oh, it actually quite literally is in the shape of a hedgehog here. Met Casey. Meat Casey. A Twinkie winner sandwich? I have had a Twinkie before. In Australia, you could buy Twinkies from like a US import store, but they were $10 a box, which if you know anything about Twinkies is not worth it. What? I don't even... Huh. This isn't this. Wait, this is not the same thing? Wait, this is. Oh yeah, it's a Twinkie wiener sandwich. Okay. It is in fact a Twinkie and a hot dog. Huh. The stuff you dip in milk? Is it? Hang on. Bring a saucepan of water to boil, add hot dogs and boil until thoroughly hot, about 5 minutes. Unwrap the snack cakes and place onto a cutting board, upside down. Cut halfway through the bottoms of the snack cakes with a small... Okay. To create buns for the hot dogs. Alright, so you're using cake instead of like a real bun. Blot the hot dog with a paper towel to remove excess water and place the hot dog inside each bun. Remove the protective... Oh, I see. So it's quite literally you're making a fake Twinkie by using cake and cream, and then you're just shoving a hot dog in it. They're bad. They're really bad. Making me vomit. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't suspect that a hot dog Twinkie crossover would be that awesome. So I'm gonna say, like I said, I'll try anything once. I will reserve judgment, but I will say I wouldn't expect it to be that great. Weird Al eats these every now and then. Interesting. Well, hell, maybe they're not so bad, you know? Elvis Presley had his deep-fried peanut butter banana sandwiches, and Weird Al has his Twinkie wieners. I just realized that you're kind of forced into saying twink and wiener in the same sentence when you say that. Like, what about the classic fairy bread? Oh, fairy bread is... Alright, I'll be honest. I'm not gonna defend fairy bread. I'm not gonna say it's gourmet shit. I'm not gonna say it's like toasting the sandwich on your sausage sizzle. What I am gonna say is that when you were a kid and they brought out the fairy bread, you were fucking hyped. You loved this colorful sugar on white bread. That's really all it is. It's colorful sugar with butter on white bread. Yeah, used to love that stuff. But yeah, I'm not gonna defend it and say it's like you're gonna love it as an adult necessarily. I remember this was actually the first time I started making friends in America. Diabetes on ice. Isn't this just breakfast? Oh, you could make an argument that it's like it's not dissimilar to like some kind of cake or maybe some kind of flat. I was gonna say pancake. I don't know if you really call this like bread pancake. That looks awful. I would have hated it as a kid. I don't know. It's sugar on bread. This is really common in Australia. Like every kid's birthday party will, unless they are a kid that doesn't like this stuff, will probably have fairy bread available. And yeah, you know, like I said, not gonna defend it, but it was pretty hype back then. I remember I made an American friend the first time in like, I think 2017. And one of the first things we like talked about was the difference between, because they talked about American sugar cookies, which I have now had. The stuff from the supermarket. Yeah, these things. It's basically just like a soft floury cookie with icing and sprinkles on it. And they were like, "Do you have these?" Because they were like, they're like my age and had a real craving for these. And they were like, "Do you have any of these?" And I was like, "No, but we do have these." And they couldn't get over that we would just put sprinkles on bread and call it a meal. So yeah, that's a thing. Chocolate chip cookies are better? Yeah, if you like chocolate, I'm sure. Did you ever have Woolworths in Australia had these? They were dreamy cookies. They were actually called this. They were actually called dreamy cookies. Yeah, they came in this packet. You know, it's supermarket brand cookies, but these were pretty damn good. I don't know what they put in them, but they were fucking good. Do you call it cookies or biscuits in AU? I think we pretty much adopt the British thing. So biscuit is like that thing. Biscuit is like a slightly harder, crisper thing that you eat with tea, optionally. And cookies are a slightly softer, more like buttery and richer sort of thing. But in America, you'd call both cookies, or you might call biscuits crackers instead, like graham crackers. Graham crackers are pretty similar to a British/Australian biscuit, and then an American biscuit is like a savory scone. I mean, it's different from it's not exactly a scone. It's like a savory, buttery version of a scone. How do we go from Xbox mods to Woolworths? You know, sometimes, like I said, when I start going down a rabbit hole, it just goes, right? It doesn't stop. Well, I was supposed to look at some PS2s. In fact, maybe we'll look at some PS2s. Scone or scone? Well, I mean, I grew up saying scone, but everyone around me says scone, obviously, because I'm in America. So, I have these two slim PS2s. They're both from... I imported both of them from Australia. Just kind of held them in my collection for years. And neither of them work. They're both kind of bad in different ways. I didn't join too late and you didn't even get to the PS2 yet? No, not yet. We just had a really extended opening. I don't even know how long I'll be able to spend on these, because as we said, I need to get out and vote. So I'll probably only be on for about another hour or so. I like saying both despite everyone. True, based. Matt ADHD. Actually, I'd love to do... Okay, next stream, I'm gonna do an an online ADHD test, and we're gonna see what it says. Because I've never been diagnosed, but like a lot of my friends have been like, I think you might have ADHD. When I like describe like, oh, you know, I did this, or I can't do this, or like stuff like that, they're like, I think you might have but I've never been diagnosed, so I think it'd be fun to do like a online test just to see what happens. Obviously, I should actually try and get a real diagnosis. I'm not going to say the online test is a replacement for a diagnosis. I just think it would be kind of funny to do that on stream. How do you vote in the US? You go to the Australian consulate. I believe you just show up and you're just like, hey, I'm here to vote. And they're just like, oh yeah, fair enough. And then you just do it, I think. I have done the Myers-Briggs personality test, but every time I do it, I get a different result. It is almost always it's somewhere between it's either INFJ or INTJ, depending on my mood, I think. I think my T and F are like right split down there. It's like right in the middle. So like depending on how I answer a question on a different day, it like teeters to one side or the other, but it's really, really close to the middle. Why are you imitating heavy American accents for Australian accent? I literally did not. I don't know what you thought you heard, but I did not. Okay, so yeah, we have these two slim PS2s. I bought this one because it was green, and all I saw in the photo... Hang on, I'll switch to camera. Oh, it's so bright. Maybe I should... Hang on, let me turn down the camera a little bit. I'm trying to think if I should turn down the camera or close the blinds. I guess both would be acceptable here. Okay, so I bought this because it was cheap and it was green, and all I saw in the photo was this. So I was like, holy shit, I've never seen a green PS2 before, I want it. Turns out it's fake. It's literally just a silver PS2, but with like a green covering, which is honestly very cringe. I don't like that someone put a covering on it, and I'm not, as I've said before, I'm not even sure of my ability to peel it off, because it's fairly stuck in there. It can probably be peeled off. It's just very, yeah, it's super adhered to the top. Scammed. I was scammed. It's really sad, and it's a 75002, which is a fairly middle of the road slimline PS2. Nothing particularly good about it. It's not an early one that has the hard drive bus already on it. It's not a later one where they fixed the PS1 incompatibilities that they introduced with this version. So yeah, it's kind of middle of the road, nothing particularly exciting, but it's, you know what, I'll try to get it working. So far, what seems to happen is the power button is just stuck. Like, you literally cannot press it in. And that might be the only flaw with it, so... Drench it in ethanol and pray. I might. Maybe if I take it apart, I'll like take the top case and yeah, just leave it somewhere overnight and see if it comes off. Was the seller Jesus again? No. It's just some guy in Australia. I never met him. Remove the case, spray paint it green. Then it really will be a green PS2. Hang on. What colors did the PS2 come in? What happened to that PS4 you tried fixing? It's still broken. I'm gonna have to. I'll look at it again another time. It's just I've been busy with other things. Because I don't see a lot of variations, at least in the West, but I do hear that there were quite a few. Alright, this is cool. I assume this was Japan exclusive, because Japan has a lot of exclusive stuff that's white. I remember, if I go to my Lego Island Japan video, I'm actually kind of mad now,
Lego
thinking
Island.
back. Look at this dumb fuck. Alright, so I went to Hard Off, and I shot this portrait video somewhere. Yeah, here. Alright. Look at all those 360s they've got. And I saw, they had, oh, just at the end, hang on. Yeah, here. They had a white PS3, and honestly, I actually really like it. I don't know why, I like white things. And I'm kind of mad I didn't just pick it up. I mean, to be fair, my suitcase was pretty full of all the other stuff that I picked up. Like this silver GameCube. It's so funny to see that in this video. It's literally the same thing. It's literally that one. I picked it up from there. So I guess this was my takeaway. But I kind of wish I got the white PS3 as well. I kind of... I get it. Yeah, everyone's making fun of me for saying that. Okay. I don't know what you think you heard, but I'm not a white supremacist, okay? But yeah, I like the I always look back at this video, I'm just like, man, I wish I'd gotten that, but I don't know, I genuinely don't know if I would have been able to fit it, so... I just have to go back. I just have to go get a Hard Off again. Anyway, so there's a white one, there's a red one. Huh. I don't think we ever got any of these outside of Japan. Oof. I don't know if I can describe that as anything other than piss yellow. I don't know if I love that. Astral blue, that's interesting. Metallic silver, we did get these. Silver is probably one of the few colors we did get, yeah. The black buttons and covers look off. Yeah, I will say the black the fact that it kind of mixes the two on the controller it's fine, but like the buttons, I would have preferred if those like matched the rest of the color. It is a little weird. Here they're okay because black and blue go together. But even in the silver one, I don't love the black buttons on the silver. Gets more well, I mean, to be fair, you know, these old plastics do yellow over time, so it probably would get even more piss-colored as it ages. Yo, transparent blue! We were just talking about this earlier! Translucent electronics are so based. Yo, true. Alright. That's pretty cool. Looks more Bernard. Yeah, probably. Zen black. Oh, I actually like that. That like smoky black. That's not bad at all. It reminds me of something. I'm semi-interested in doing this mod myself. That you can get. Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily a mod, but on AliExpress you can buy Wii cases for like $10 or 10 euros. It might be cool to get like a smoky blue or smoky gray Wii case. Yeah, check this out. I mean, they might not be the greatest quality plastic because it's coming from AliExpress. I don't know why it's in Spanish. What the hell? Estados. Alabama. Yeah, alright. Is there actually a place called 3 Notch in Alabama? Yo, that Colin guy. Thanks so much for the resub. Oh,
yeah,
that's
5 months, BB.
5 months. Thanks so much for the 5 months. This is what it's talking about. Yeah. Yeah, alright, I'm in Alabama. $17 US. Yeah, I wouldn't hate. Well, I'll actually no, I'll say it. I'll be more committal. Yo, Ailey Fox, thanks so much for the Prime sub. Thanks for the Bezos bucks. I'm on ES dot. Well, I wasn't trying to be. I just went to AliExpress and it like redirected me. Anyway, yeah, I'd be interested in picking up one of these, like in a Wii that looked like this. Like I said, it might be kind of weak plastic because it's from AliExpress, but like, still, you know, as long as you're not like throwing it around, it's probably not so bad. Midnight Blue PS2 absolutely slaps. Sadly, they tend to be ridiculously priced on eBay. Have we gotten to that yet? Black. Toys R Us limited color. Ooh. I don't know if I love that though. It's like a washed out blue. It's a silver again. Sakura purple. Okay, that's actually kind of nice. I actually kind of like that. Metallic blue. That's not bad. I bought one. Plastic is actually much better than you expect. Yo, okay. That's cool. I might do it then. Another Toys R Us limited color. That's kind of like gold silver, unless that's just the white balance of the photo. I don't know. Sakura purple, pearl white, opaque blue. Ooh, this is the midnight blue you were talking about. Hang on, who mentioned that? Absolutely, yeah. This is good. I actually really like this. That might be my favorite so far. It's that I like the white, even though the black buttons are kind of like I don't know if they really fit very well. Sakura purple is alright, and I like these, the smoky ones. But yeah, midnight blue might be my favorite. No wonder it's so expensive. Mobile Suit Z Gundam, the gold one. Okay. Ceramic white. It might work better on a Slim actually, because the Slim doesn't necessarily have. This doesn't have those the black buttons and controller stuff. So maybe the white would actually work better on a Slim. Gundam PS2. Yeah. Final Fantasy PS2. It's just black, but it's got like an emblem in it. Pink! Oh! One of the few I actually do own. I own a pink PS2. Was this okay, so this was released, this is a PAL pink PS2. Was this released in America? Because most of these I think were Japanese exclusive. And this works fine. This is a... I bought this for relatively cheap, I have to say, in Australia. Console only, no controllers, I don't have the pink controller or anything, but, I mean, it's a pink PS2. How can you complain? I need to get a pink PS2 ASAP? You do, they're good. How much are they nowadays? Because mine, I think I only spent 40 Australian on it, which is 25 USD right now. Though it might have been different back then. I don't know what the exchange rate would have been back when I got it. Pink PS2, how much are they? Woo! 250? Huh? Oh, it's a Sakura pink. 160? What the fuck? Really? What about in Australia? Pink PS2. No way! 150? 160? 200? 450? What the fuck? Wait, what do they actually sell for? Because these people might just be trying to like... damn, 325. Well, they got the controllers. 160 for 4 of them. That's roughly $40 each. But they're all broken, apparently. $60 for a doesn't work. Damn, I actually got a really good deal. I swear, mine was only 40 bucks. This was back in 2019, though. Maybe with inflation and like, what would you call it? I know retro gaming like gets bigger every year. Maybe they've gone up in price. But no, I didn't spend anything like this. No. And mine works, it's not broken. A lot of these that are like $40 or $30 or something like that are broken. Damn. Go to price charting. How do I do that? I don't know if I've never done that on eBay. COVID hit and everyone wanted a pink PS2. Maybe. Yeah, I got mine just before COVID. How hard would it be to remove the case for painting? Not hard, I don't think. Yeah, no, not hard. Especially not on the Slims. It's basically just you unscrew, you take off the feet and you unscrew it and then it just pops off. Oh, price charting is a website separate from eBay. Oh, interesting. Loose price, 76. That's USD, I assume. All. Oh, it only goes back to March 2020. So it wouldn't even... Oh yeah, look at that. That looks more... That looks about right. Like $40, $50. Huh. But like... Maybe you just have to get lucky and just have to wait for one to show up. Wait for a good price. Like, a lot of these ones, maybe they just never sell. You know, they put them up for $250 and they never sell. And then, you know, someone puts them on up for $40 every now and then that does sell. But then again, these are sold. These ones, these listings are sold and they're still buying them for a ridiculous amount of money. The vaccine makes you want to buy a pink PS2. Oof. When I was really young, I wanted to soft-mod a PS2 Slim using the disc swap method, but a screw stripped on the bottom and I couldn't open it to hold down the sensors. No! I actually did do that on my PS2. I did some disc swapping. But I could only successfully disc swap PS1 games. I never... The PS2 games had a bit of a... had a bit more protection that I couldn't figure out how to get around. Alright. So I'm gonna say, let's open up this PS2 and see if we can fix the button. It's just the button. I'll put this one aside for now. And I'll get an overhead camera so everyone can see what's going on. Oh, nope. It's wrong computer. So I can see what's going on. Oops. Refresh. Hang on. Sorry, hold. There we go. How's it looking? Okay, cool. Easy. Alright. Get my microphone out of the way. Yeah, I say we just open it up and take a look at that button, because that seems to be the only real issue, is the button. Interestingly, looks like someone's been in here before. So there's this sticker, that this warranty sticker, that it covers one of the screws. If someone's removed that, someone's been in here before. You know what would be really shitty is if someone fucked up a Modbo install and I have to fix that. Come on the button. Maybe. It's just stuck. It just doesn't press in. Trying to soft mod a Slim PS2 sucks. End up just buying a pre-installed free include memory card for cheap off eBay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's always the tough part. I mean, it's easier now than it used to be, but it's always the tough part is just getting the FMCB installer to open. Once you have FMCB installed, you can do anything. I actually like Slims for me because I have a NAS, so I have a computer that sits on the network and serves files, and you can stream ISOs off the Ethernet that way. And that way, I have all my ISOs in one place. So if I want to play on emulator one day, they're all on my NAS. And if I want to play on console one day, they're still all on my NAS in the same place. So that's a cool little convenience for my setup. But most people are not going to have that, so they're better off getting a fat PS2 with a hard drive. Should be all of them. It is. It's just a little bit stuck, I think. Hang on. There we go. It's a little rusty, I wonder if that means it was in like a humid climate. Are they in Queensland? Oh, interesting. Yeah, the button was weird, but it does still click. The button was like shoved in an awkward position, but I just like popped it out. You couldn't, I don't know if you could see that very well, probably not, because my thumb was covering it. But it clicks now. Is that all it's gonna be? Hang on, can we just plug this in and try it now? Can you zoom in a little? There we go. So this is the power button right here. It was kind of pushed downwards. I don't know how to explain it. It was kind of pushed in at an angle, but I just kind of popped it out with my fingernail, and now it presses. So it's all clicky now. So that could be it. That could literally be all it was. Oh. Ooh. You guys hear that? The fan is running full speed. And it didn't go green. Weird. Very weird. A fan spin, but now it's dead again. The fan stopped. Hang on, let's see if we can try that again. Okay. Press the button. Nothing now. Well, seems to me like something is on the board. Can't see the button. I'm pressing the button. Like, I don't know. Do you really need to see all the detail? Like, I'm pressing it, okay? But I don't know what's happening with the fan. Like, it turned on that one time, and it does look a little grody, yeah. It could be, oh no, you see that? It's brown. This actually, this might have been submerged. It's, I think that's rust. I don't think that's dirt. I think this, uh-oh, come on. It's really like stuck in there as well. That's kind of unusual. Oh wait, no, never mind. My bad. Forgot to take a screw out. It's been a minute since I've done these. My bad. If I touch that, I'd have to wash my hands for half an hour. I don't think it's necessarily dirt. I think it's corrosion, and that's why I'm oof. That's why I'm not too worried about it. Also, I did touch a cockroach PS3, so clearly I'm not worried about it. Oof. I think this is water damage. I think somehow, maybe this was left at like in the bottom of someone's garage, and then the garage flooded or something like that. Because you notice it's all like centralized or localized towards the bottom. Okay. Well, we're going to. Hang on, I'll get my silicon mat, just because it has like screw holders and it will protect my desk from being damaged by anything. Okay. Well, let's take a look. This could be awful. Is part of the shield missing? This, I think, If that's a manual cut, it's quite clean. But I'm not entirely sure. It could be, that could just be how they are. I haven't looked at one of these for a while. Yeah, I think it's definitely some kind of liquid damage. My phone is buzzing. Who's trying to buzz me right now? Oh, I see. Okay. It's because something on one of my eBay auctions is ending, and people are bidding. It's also squeaky. That's interesting. Squeaky. Okay, need to flip it over. Oh, I should get the drive off, probably. I don't know if it's actually necessary to get the drive off, but I will do it. More like someone spilled water on a table, got into the bottom of the PS2 and left there. Yeah, that could be it. Yeah, it looks like... It looks like it was kind of sat on some kind of surface that had a lot of water. Enough water that it could seep through, like, these vents, and then just trickle inside. The drive on the 900XX is awful. It doesn't have screws. Really? I know that's like a... Yeah, that's like a completely... It's still a Slim, but it's a complete redesign because it's got the power supply built in. So they've like miniaturized the motherboard to like that size or something like that. Alright, trying to take this off as cleanly as possible. Ugh, this is hard. I mean, I should be using a tool for this, I'm sure, but... I guess I could use this. No, I think I was having better luck with my fingers. Yeah, it is. They really do miniaturize it quite a bit. I mean, I guess it was around for a long time. Well, actually, in theory, this was only 2004, so the PS2 was only 4 years old at this point. Okay, there we go. Alright, drive assembly is out. And then we need to... Oh yeah, there's a screw under here, so I definitely needed to get that out. That was a slightly shorter screw. Which makes things complicated. Oh, there's one over here as well. I missed this one. PS2 is the most impressively downsized console I've ever seen. PS3 Slim is hella small too, though for a regular PS3 Slim. Oh yeah, the Super Slim. I keep forgetting about that one. And I don't know if I've ever actually seen one of those in person. I've seen photos, obviously, but I don't know if I've ever seen a... I've definitely never owned one. I've only owned original fat ones and slim ones. Okay, so... What is this? What is this? Oh, chat's blocking it? What is this? Oh, you still can't see it. Fuck, I'm on studio mode! I'm sorry, guys. This? What is this? Eat it? I don't think so. I hate to say it. It's either like a black grain of rice or something has defecated through a sunroof and it has landed in here. Alright, well, let me get a paper towel. Okay. Ugh. Alright, well, get rid of that. What's this? Was there like a bit of paper in here? Oh, Jesus. What is this? There's like this sticker in the controller port. I will never get over how badly some people treat their consoles. Piss shit too. I mean, pretty much, honestly. Alright, I should get this out so I can, we can look at the other side. Oh, this is one of the ones with the battery on the, situated like this. There we go. Fuck this sticker. I can always replace it with tape later on. I'd be wearing gloves. Yeah, I could. I could be wearing gloves. We'll see how bad it gets. So far, I think most of this is still rust. But we'll see what's on the other side. Ooh, god damn it! What is going on down there? Hang on, let me at least get webcam back on. I think we might have found the problem. No, I think this is... I think this is just severe corrosion. Like something... It might not have even been water, it might have been something more heinous like Coca-Cola or something like that. Something that's been poured... I mean, it actually lines up pretty perfectly. So... Yeah, so the PS2 has these vents on the back. This would be sitting like this inside... Hang on, I'll hide the webcam again. This would be sitting like this inside... The board would be sitting like this inside the case. So I think something seeped in through here and just destroyed this part of the board, essentially. I don't think this is coming back. It's not, it doesn't look good, I will say. Like, it's bad. I almost think you'd have to replace all of these components. I mean, maybe not replace, but you'd have to, like, resolder them all and shit. Alcohol and cotton swab. Yeah, alcohol could get the stuff off. It really depends on, like... Yeah. Ultrasonic cleaning. I don't have anything like that. Yeah, that's it. They'll take off corrosion residue, but any damage to the connection component will remain. That's going to be the tough part, yeah, is if the components are too damaged to salvage. I mean, in theory they're replaceable, but what even is this component? This what even is that chip? It's upside down, I think. Why does it look like the... It looks like it's got some kind of infection, like the flood got to it from Halo. BCM. Huh. I know there are Bluetooth modules that start with BCM, but the PS2 didn't have Bluetooth. Broadcoms, maybe it's the NIC? Oh, maybe. Oh, that's probably what I'm thinking of. Yeah, it could be. Plus some other stuff that like prevents it from turning on. No, it's not a mod chip. It's definitely a real component. BCM Ethernet controller. Okay, fair enough. Well. So here's my backup plan. If I cannot fix this, I'm trying not to touch my face. I'll wash my hands and maybe I'll get some gloves and we'll start like wiping it down. The backup plan is if I can't fix this board, I could probably use this as a parts machine to fix that one. right? Whatever's wrong with that one, I actually don't know. Whatever's wrong with that one, I could probably, you know, take bits that aren't fucked up from this one and put it in the other one. Could be mold. I think it's just like the chemical reaction just did that. I mean, maybe it could be mold though. Anyway, alright, I'm gonna wash my hands. I'm gonna come back with gloves and we're gonna try and clean that off and just get a better idea of what we're dealing with. Alright, I'll see you guys in a minute. I guess I don't need to put anything on. Took a minute to find them. I bought them recently because I had that bathroom fiasco 2 days ago where I definitely did not shit in the sink. Don't believe what anyone tells you. So I bought these specifically for that. I stocked up, and but I couldn't remember where I'd put them. But I found them. Shat in the sink cake. No, no, that's not what happened. I don't appreciate spreading this misinformation. Yo, energy drink 16. Thanks for the Bezos bucks. Thanks for the Prime sub. I really appreciate it. Enjoy spamming Matt KC feast. All right, I'm gloved up. I'm ready to go in dry. All right, so I'll get some of these bad boys. And where's my alcohol? Yes, here. In situations like these, I usually turn to alcohol. To drink, not to clean with. Alright. Here we go. How many years do you think this has been stuck in here? I mean, how long have I had this? I guess, honestly, I've had this for a couple years. Ugh, you can already see it. Hang on, sorry, you can't see. It's already coming up on the Q-tip. I mean, Yeah, I wonder how many years... How long ago did this happen? Some kid in Australia was like, oops, accidentally poured some Pepsi into my PS2 and now it doesn't work. And I covered it with a green covering for no real reason. Well, time to sell it on eBay. Actually, that's a good question. I should go back and check. Did he even sell it as broken? Because, you know, I'm the kind of person who will just buy stuff because even if it's broken, oftentimes I can fix it. So as long as it's a good deal, I'm all good. But in this scenario, actually, so in this scenario, I don't actually know if I bought it intentionally broken or not. The covering was because they were green-silver colorblind. Ah, okay, that makes sense. Oops, I accidentally shit in my PS2. Oops! Whatever dropped the turd in there also peed in it. Hell, maybe. Oh god, can you imagine? What if this is like... Yeah, what if this is like some really over-enthusiastic rat as a pet took a shit and then took a piss inside the PS2? Oh, what was that? There was something solid that just kind of came off. It looked like someone defecated through a sunroof. But it's looking better already. I mean, at least we can kind of get an idea of what we're looking at. And if we're going to need to... If it can be salvaged through soldering. Was it rat shit size? No, well, actually, how big are rat shits? It was like... That... It was pretty small. Like, a millimeter in diameter sort of thing. It might have just been something... Some of this might have congealed into crust, you know what I mean? Oh, turn on the webcam. You guys are gonna watch me without my face? Huh? What are you doing? Alright. Can we please stop discussing this? I'm not sure if we will be able to stop discussing this because it's kind of what we're faced with right now. My gerbil's shits were pretty tiny, so maybe. Jesus. I mean, this is mostly corrosion, I think, and the byproduct of corrosion, so like, just rusted up metal. And it would be interesting if I could go in and just like reflow these joints and it'll work, but like it's not super likely. Because it may have eaten like through some of the components themselves or through some of the tracers. It may be more effort than it's worth, is the thing. I mean, I feel like the lesson we learn in technology is that anything is possible. Like, if people ask, like, is it possible to, you know, decompile a game? Usually, it is possible. It's more just, how long do you want to spend on it? You know, we've got a finite amount of years in our lives, and when you look back, would you be happy that you spent, you know, X amount of years working on this instead of something else? And in the case of cleaning rat shit out of a PS2, I don't know if I would be. I think that might be better left to other things. A toothbrush would make this cleanup much easier. Yeah, you're probably right. Alright, hang on. Another new innovation. Another new innovation in addition to gloves is that I now have toothbrushes. So, yeah. Can I dip? I guess I'll just dip it in. The SMAP, the PlayStation 2 Ethernet interface connected to the speed device, Ethernet Phi, the Phi-Sever device that is connected to the SMAP interface. The earliest models included a national semiconductor DP that has an auto negotiation issue with gigabit Ethernet. Later models had a ST microelectronics, while latest PS2s came with a Broadcom. Yeah, that sounds about right. No, it's not my only toothbrush. I actually bought a set of like 12 of them for $5 because I knew that like occasionally they come in handy for cleaning. Oh, someone redeemed staring contest. Oh god. Well, you'll have to keep in mind that I'm currently a little bit encumbered, but you know what? It'll have to be done. All right, I won't bother putting on music this time. I'll just do it. All right, ready? Okay. They're still open. Just haven't blinked yet. Okay, that was a blink. Never mind. All right. I don't know how long that was, but there you go. There was your staring contest. You probably won. I think the same time you did. You know, here's what I'm gonna say. I know you're all gonna spam copium in the chat, but I think I have a harder job because when I stare at the camera, I'm staring directly into a studio light. So I think I would be doing a better job if that were not the case. All right, that's my excuse. Okay. That's good for the eyes. It really is. I want to get a little bit more of this. Hang on. Okay. Filled the cap with alcohol because I don't want to just pour the whole thing on it, but I do want to like be able to drip a little bit onto it. All right. And I'll pour that back in. We're staring at a screen shining the light of 1,000 suns back at us. Well, you know what? Maybe you should be turning your brightness down. You ever think about that? Staring at my face? Well, if anything, that would just make it easier, right? My face is pretty good, right? It's pro tip. Instead of isopropyl alcohol, cum on the PS2. No, someone already did, as you can see. Alright, let me close up this bottle. I guess I'll just keep scrubbing. I don't know if there's any trick I could use apart from just like you know, the good old elbow grease. A bit of Windex or similar works great when isopropyl isn't enough. Just make sure to rinse with isopropyl alcohol afterwards. Hell yeah, I do have Windex somewhere. Already it looks pretty good, I have to say. Like there's still a bit here and there, but for the most part it's pretty cleaned up. Man, it would be kind of wild if this was a full restoration or full repair. But I don't know because I don't know if I'll be able to do it today because, like I said, I'm trying to get out and vote today before 5 o'clock, and it's already 3:30. So, like, after we clean this, I might actually have to go. I'm afraid, but I will be back. I will resume this later on. Liquid heat or liquid flux plus heat is pretty good at removing corrosion junk. Would that also happen if I just went through and like Just went through and tried to resolder everything on here. Okay. Honestly, it doesn't look bad, right? Like there are definitely damaged pins and components, but it's probably not impossible. Are you gonna fly to Australia in the next 2 hours? No, I'm going to the Australian consulate, which is about 20 minutes away from me. Yeah, I think that's almost all of it off. It's just that obviously these traces, like, you see these black pins on this chip, like, they're probably not going to be making the greatest connection anymore. Am I coming back tonight? I guess it depends how long it takes. I can let you guys know. It's more likely I'd come back tomorrow, though. Just because I might end up doing errands as well while I'm out. I know this is going to be a bad move, but there's something on here that I'm not sure what it is. It's like sticky. Weird. Being very gentle, so don't worry. Huh. What's this? Some kind of sticky residue there. And it's on these as well. Direct 7-hour flight to Adelaide tonight. I wish it only took 7 hours. Then I might go back and visit family more often. Oh, that's not true. It's when it comes to visiting family, I'll put up with the 15-hour flight. But it is a 15-hour flight. I mean, goddamn, it's not for the faint of heart. I think I need a bit more alcohol. We're getting there though. It's like so much better than it used to be. I feel like it's already, I want to say like a 90% improvement, maybe even 95. 12-hour flight to Japan was brutal. Yep. The sticky residue has just come. You can just wash it off. Well, if it's come, then we're gonna need to run some DNA tests to figure out whose it is. It is always interesting when you get a device like this and you try to think like, what happened? Like, it's always kind of fascinating to me to try and reverse engineer the damage and trying to see what it was. Oh, chat on stream. Yeah, I guess you're right. Don't really need to look at anything on that side at the moment. Still a bit of gunk on here that I haven't been focusing on this side as much. It's yours, Matt. Was the orgasm so powerful that you forgot? Must have been, yeah. Must have been. Here's what happened. Don't spam Kappa. I was with my bitches, like I always am, and I accidentally left the PS2 on the bed. And you know, one thing led to another, and it just seeped in. I don't know what to say. Like, sometimes that just happens, you know? Spilled coke. I spilled my hookers and my blow into the PS2. Yeah, as Chad Warden said, you know, when I show them my PS2, honeys get all over there. Get all the honeys with the PS2, alright? That's what he would have said if it was 2004. It's again like a 90% improvement. There's still like some gunk though that's not. It's some stubborn gunk that's not coming off. I don't know if you can see it, but like, Yeah, on the side here, there's just some like brown goo, and I haven't. It's difficult to get that off. The elusive Captain Saberho. It's me, everyone. That's why it takes me so long to upload videos. I'm busy. It's the most action the PS2 has seen in a while. Bro, it's the most action I've seen in a while. Let's be real here. Chemical reaction that dissolved the copper. That's probably a lot of what we saw. A lot of the like puffy stuff that we've cleaned away. But the goo, I don't know if that would have resulted in a goo. I feel like the goo might have been part of what originally seeped in here. Like maybe if it was soda or something. Big fan of the channel. Really held my work days together these past few weeks. Yo, hell yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's always good when someone appreciates the dumb shit that you do. The dumb shit that I do in this case. But thank you so much. What's the background music? It is the DDR Kirby Best of Volume 2. The song is Crystal Flower Garden. In my early streams, I actually had a music overlay, which I could resurrect that. I could bring that back. Look, I'm being very gentle. Don't worry. Oh, okay. Maybe this is not goo. Maybe it actually is corroded metal. Over here we have goo. Like, this stuff is goo. Scrape that shit. I'm trying to be as careful as I can, you know. You never know what's gonna fuck shit up on here, but like I said, that's definitely at least like a 90-95% improvement. Yeah, maybe if I just go over these with a soldering iron, there might be... Oh, there's still some goo on here though. Unless that is just metal as well. Maybe they have like fused together from the corrosion. Oh, actually... I can't tell if there's something on there or not. It's like... I don't know if you can see it very well. Yeah, maybe it's just corrosion. It just seems like there's some glop on there. Dumb shit is a real overstatement of your work. Seriously, I wish you knew the shit you know. Hey, that's really nice, because I don't feel like I know anything. I just have ideas and I spend too much time on them until eventually they work out. That's my entire philosophy. My entire philosophy, here's the thing that separates me from anyone else. Even when it doesn't seem like it, I still have a feeling I can do things. So even like if it's really dumb, like getting .NET working on on Windows 95, I'm just like, you know, I think I could do that. Now I don't know the first thing about .NET, or I didn't before I started working on this, and I had to learn a lot of dumb shit trying to do that. But all that was powering me through was like, this is a cool idea and I think it can be done. And that's all that's all that separates me from anyone else, is that I think that it can. Whenever other people think it can't be done, I think it can. Legend states someone at the PS2 factory was denied a bathroom break that fateful day. Oh, so this came out of the factory like this. Big oof. I wish there was a trimming guide for this board and not only the later, even smaller PCB. That way we know if the Ethernet is needed for the system to boot. Yeah, I don't know about that, and it's quite possible it's not the Ethernet chip. It could be one of these other components that are causing the boot failure. It's hard to know at this point. Though, yeah, it could be worth, just like I said, just going around and reflowing everything and seeing if that actually ends up fixing it. Like maybe just some of these traces just fucked up, right? Oh, there we go. See, yeah, that's the gunk I'm talking about. It's just like really built up on some of this. It's like, I feel like a dentist. I'm cleaning the shit off the teeth. Did you just explain overconfidence? Yeah, probably. There's another word for it. There's can't think of it, but there's another word for it. There's a less critical word for it. Naivete? Oh, no, that's another critical word. That's not the word I was looking for. I guess it doesn't really matter if there's like just some goop on the top. It's probably not worth damaging the board over it, or damaging the chip over the component. There's definitely something weird. Like, I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but some of these pins on the side are like fucked. The ones in the corner, this corner, they're like bent as well. Yeah, I don't. Those have seen better days. I'm not gonna necessarily say it. I feel like it. Yeah, but it may still be possible to resurrect this thing, but they do not look good. Though I'm not even sure if they connect to anything, because I can't see the pads either, unless the pads got rotted off as well, which is possible. I have roughly 12 incomplete projects at any given time. Hey, me too, though I do like to finish things. I like the feeling of finishing things, so sometimes I can like work my way through stuff, even if there are other things that I'm like, oh, I'd rather work on this. Then I'm relatively good at self-discipline and being like, no, I should finish this first. Oh, the pin bending could have obviously happened when I was using the toothbrush, but only if it wasn't connected to anything. Or I might just be imagining it. I don't even know if the if the pin bending is real. It might just look like it from this angle. Why am I using a metal tool to scrape? It's not actually. I'm not actually scraping very hard. As I was saying earlier, I'm being very gentle with it. But yeah, I know it's not like a recommended thing to do. I don't really have any plastic tools. I have like a crappy disposable plastic knife that came with a takeout meal. That's probably about the best I could get, and I don't think it would do anything. Just use Windex, it's way safer. Well, we don't even... This stuff is pretty hard, though. Like, earlier we were already using alcohol and a toothbrush, so this is like built up stuff. Probably gunk under the chip too. I think it needs to be desoldered and cleaned under there too. Maybe. Windex will eat through it. You're very confident. We don't even know what this stuff is. You mentioning takeout reminded me I need to get something to eat. Well, enjoy. Get something to eat. Just cut off the pins. Yeah, that's a good idea. Those really thin nozzle declogger pins would work well on this sort of stuff. I mean, it's mostly like... I feel like it's mostly pretty good. Like, the toothbrush did most of it. So, yeah, I feel like we're like pretty much there. It's just a matter of... yeah, I just wanted to see what some of that stuff was. And yeah, it's pretty hard. But yeah, but the point is, I don't know if I'll be able to, like, so my plan is I might go try and reflow some of these now and just see what happens. But I don't think I'll do that now. No way, that chip is vital. No, apparently it's the Ethernet controller. But like, there are consoles that will be mad if it can't find the Ethernet controller. I think the Wii is one of those. The Wii will like not turn on if it can't detect its Wi-Fi adapter, I think. But that's like a plug-on thing. Use toilet water, that worked for me. Yeah, it's already had toilet water on it. Alright, yeah, so at this point, I think... Yeah, so as I said, I have to go and vote soon, so... and it's already 3:44, I'm supposed to be there before 5, so I think it might actually be a good time to call it and come back later. Probably... Some people were asking if I'd come back later today, and I might be able to, but I don't know if I'd be able to very quickly. Like, it might take some time. And so it might just be better... I know time zones are funky, so I might have to... it might just make more sense to come back tomorrow. Come on the voting documents. What are you voting for? Australia has a referendum going at the moment, and because I haven't taken myself off the voter roll, I still have to... I'm still technically supposed to vote, because it's still mandatory. It's the voice thing? It is the voice thing, yeah. If you look up, like, Australian referendum, you'll see what it is. I mean, it's just, like, some... It's a single issue, and I'm not voting for, like, Prime Minister or something like that. Do your Aussie duty and don't get fined. Hell yeah, and I'll let you know if there are any democracy sausages, which there probably won't be. But yeah, and these gloves, oof. It's a good thing I actually wore these, because look at that. I actually have brown residue on my gloves. Awful. Absolutely awful. A Discord. I do have a new Discord, but it is sub and patron only, because we had issues with like spammers in the past. So the answer is yes. If you type in !Discord, you can join, and you can read it. But to actually post messages in it, it's sub and patron only. But yeah, pay the fine in PS2 parts. This will be my... I'll offer this as my sacrifice, yeah. Alrighty, well, God, that's like... There's dirt around here as well. It's kind of nasty. Oh yeah, I haven't even gotten to actually cleaning this board yet, but I think I'll call it there. We didn't even look at the other one yet. That's going to be a whole other disaster. I'm not subbed and I can message. If you were there, like, you only have to sub once. It's a one-time thing. It's not a hang on, switch to cam only. It's not a persistent thing. You don't have to be a sub forever. It's literally just a like verification sort of system, and as soon as you're in, you're in. I didn't sub once. Well, if you were there before this rule was imposed, then you were grandfathered in. I didn't lock off the server for people who weren't already in. Joined in 2019. Well, there you go. Actually, I didn't have a server in 2019. This server was created in 2021. But yeah, if you're already there, I didn't lock you out if you were already in the server. Basically, it's just a one-time. As soon as you're like trusted, then you're in forever. Not really. It was 2022. Well, that was still before the rule. The rule was sometime this year, I think. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out. We'll get back to this soon. I will go and vote. I will. I'll make my country proud, and/or I'll piss off my country because I'm like foreign interference at this point. Why does everything look so yellow? Because this is daylight, and in the morning when I started streaming, the daylight was bluer, and now it's become oranger over time, and my camera is set to manual white balance. That's why. You don't have to set up a Patreon. Only if you want to talk in the Discord. You can still join and read it though. Oh yeah, it's the Mexico filter. Yeah, it's because if you go back in the VOD, like the white balance works for earlier in the stream, but not anymore, and it's hard to change it right now. So anyway, I'll see you guys either probably, I'm gonna say probably tomorrow. I'll probably come back to this tomorrow. And I'll try and fix the .NET stuff tonight. If anyone who was around from earlier remembers the .NET stuff, I'll finish that tonight. I'll try to finish it. I'll see if what I can do. I'll do some more work on it, and hopefully it'll finish. I think it's pretty close. So anyway, I'll see you guys later. I keep saying that, but yeah. Have a good rest of your day or evening. Bye bye.